Following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention.
When you just talk.
Oh, I hate this.
I love this song.
Should have told me this.
He's never gone. For all the haters out there, he's never gone.
Letting the wife know when I'm going to be home.
What are we gonna do with all this snow?
I think we should eat it. Just go with a spoon.
No.
Just go with a spoon and eat it. Well, I'm going to get in trouble. Me? Get in trouble?
Yes.
For saying eat the snow?
Pow pow.
How come I can't see the top? Why is that? Why? This is a constant issue with the...
They must have assumed. Let me change
Yeah,
it
it's
up.
got to come to lower so that...
You like people to see your computer?
Yeah, because you can see my fat belly. The whole point of the computer is to
even
hide
with the computer,
how
it's still
fat
going
I
to be
am.
on the top.
Well, it is if you lower it. When it was lowered...
All right, let me see if I can make a
Look at the angles that we
smaller.
had 6 months ago and look at the angles that we have now. That
They
move, that,
switched it.
that
That's
is-
why. You know they mess with
Yeah,
this
but we
all the
gotta,
time.
yeah, we're gonna switch it back.
All right, let's see. What
Don't
about
they understand
this?
that this is my studio?
What about this?
Well, yeah, but you gotta lower. You have to physically
You're higher,
lower.
I think.
No, I'm at the exact same height I always am. What's higher is the angle of the camera. The camera needs to physically come down.
All right, what about... It's just we can't cut your head too much. Right there?
Well,
Then we cut your head a lot.
that's fine.
And you're so much at the edge,
not
the
what I-
camera is not getting
It's
like
not what I
the blue
want, but
rank.
it's fine for today. But what I'm saying is, like,
I know you
for
mean.
next month, we need to lower. We need to physically lower that.
Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Some production stuff live,
Right.
you know. People need to know what Tom likes.
We're waiting on our guest.
Yes, we
So
are.
we might as well just get this show on the road.
Let me see.
Do we know who our
Welcome in,
sponsors
everyone.
are even? Like, do we even know this at this point?
Welcome in, everyone. Please like and share. You can share to groups.
Nothing is
share
working the
on
way it's
chats.
supposed to. Nothing.
Share. Let me share too.
For the love of God.
Everyone, come on.
All right, fine.
Ba, 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 ba.
I'm getting nothing out of him. This is just such a pain in the ass. Do you know who the
when you're ready.
sponsors are? Well, I'm trying to get the sponsors up. For some reason, it's just not working.
That's the first thing you should do when you come here.
That's what I thought I did.
Is that computer too? Is old, right?
All right, I got it. Yeah. Well, it's a new computer, but nothing on this computer works. None of the programs like Excel and Word, because it's a new computer. They want you to buy an upgrade. So.
Yeah. I love how we're talking about like pre-production stuff here. Well, that's today's show, guys.
All right, thanks for coming. Good night. All right, let's get this show on the road. Hi, how you guys doing? And you go up a little bit so that when I do the podcast, how are we good? Yeah, no, yes.
You want your ears
Yes,
up?
Just a little bit. Yep.
All right, right there.
Hi, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan. Hit the paying attention podcast. High atop, well, right across the street from the plush and luxurious. See, look, this just isn't going to work. This just is not going to work.
I know. It's too like zoomed in or
Right.
something,
I don't know why
right?
they physically lifted the camera, and so now it's like it's just
Yeah.
not doing what I want it
Let me
to do.
let
so
me play with it a little.
we'll make
bit,
it work for
sorry.
next week. Right across the street from me, plush and luxurious. I'm just going to do this the entire fucking show. The entire show, I'm just going to be doing this. I'm going to do the show like this. Hi, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan here at the Paying Attention podcast, right across the street from the plush and luxurious Valley Patriot offices, right here on Main Street in North Andover. We're waiting on our guests, so let's thank our sponsors. Century 21, she's on the floor. Century 21, McLennan Real Estate. Brando's. Somebody brought me, Billy was supposed to.
He's busy.
But he
owns a
gets
couple
very
of
busy and he
businesses, right?
forgets me, and it hurts. It hurts my feelings because, I'm laying around just waiting for him. And
What did they bring you?
he was supposed to bring me a cardinal sandwich with the au jus sauce.
What's a cardinal sandwich?
It's prime rib.
Prime. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's prime rib.
Nothing to
sandwich.
do with like the sports, right?
No,
Okay, then I can eat it.
right. And you can't actually eat cardinals. That's
No. I'm talking
not a
about like
thing.
if he's naming it after a team, a sports team.
I see.
Tudum-tsh.
All right, very
Right
good.
back at you.
Anyways, Brando's. We love Brando's. He was supposed to bring me not only was he supposed to bring me a sandwich the other day, which he never did, but then he was supposed to let us know this morning because we were supposed to have some breaking news on this show. Checking my nothing from Billy Griffin. I was told this morning I was going to have breaking news, and I'm going to give you guys a hint because word is out. Word is out that Brando's is expanding. Remember when I told you a couple of weeks ago that Brando is expanding into North Andover?
Yeah.
Brando's is expanding into North Andover. So what we're doing is we're waiting for right now. We're waiting on the official Oakley Dokley from Billy Griffin to tell you what they did. And a lot of people already know.
I hope it's Methuen.
Listen, it's North Andover.
Oh, you said no. Sorry.
And most people kind of know because they know there's a place in North Andover I used to promote. And they were very big. Came on the show. We promoted them big. And then they started to crash, and they stopped doing their ads, and they stopped doing everything. And now Billy went to them and said, listen, you guys aren't doing good. Let me buy you. And so he bought them this morning, but we can't say.
But you just gave a hint.
Keep looking for Billy Griffin. I don't see him.
You just gave a big hint. And I'm sorry I said Methuen and I got distracted.
Yep, no, that's fine. Total Mortgage, the Zany Pesh law office at Zany Pesh. They're Italian. You know how Italian they are over there.
They have grapes.
I mean, they're Italian with Italy. They're from
office. Italy.
Her husband's Mr. Italy over there at the Zany Pesh law office. On the go notary, the Hungry Traveler. I talked to Karina this morning about the Hungry Traveler. I'm pretty sure they're in, but we'll give them a free shout out until they're officially in. Anyway, Marston and Son Construction. EIS, Investigation and Gun Training. Tomo and Shaken Seafood. I think Zaka and I are going to Tomo Friday night if I can get
tomorrow?
out. Yeah,
Don't
tomorrow
you have
night.
other plans tomorrow?
I
Possible plans?
don't have what other plans
tomorrow
for tomorrow?
is the St. Patty's.
Well, if we can get there. If I can get there, I will.
Okay.
So the plan for tomorrow was to go to Tomo's with Zaka and his wife, and then afterwards go by. I think it's at the Irish Cottage. Do we have that? You want to pull that up?
Sure. Yes,
we promised John Drew that we would help him promote it because he's an Irish, even though he's far left wing and pretends he's not.
He is?
He's wicked left wing and just totally.
I'm disappointed.
He just totally pretends that he's not.
I voted for him. I'm disappointed.
And if you're not sure, just look at any of his photos and see Nunzio D'Amaco's son with him in every photo. Yeah,
he's
he
a plumber. You know what I'm saying? He's a hardworking man.
Yeah, he's a plumber, all right.
He's a moderate Republican.
He's a martyr is what he is. Methuen St. Patrick's Day Parade fundraiser, July 30th. Is that really tomorrow? I guess it is. 6 to 10 p.m. at the Irish Cottage. Love the Irish Cottage. There had been advertised with the Valley Patriot forever on Branch Street in Methuen. We were at the Irish Cottage last week. I always tell people that the Irish Cottage has the best Reuben sandwich. And
I don't think I've ever.
I got to be honest, I was a little disappointed in the Reuben sandwich when we went. Everything else was really good, but it was really kind of, but here's the thing. You go to McDonald's and they get your order wrong 7 times out of 10 and you keep going, right?
Yeah,
so if you have a place that you like to go, they're going to screw up once in a while, right?
Of course.
And it should be okay to say that. They screwed up once in a while. Salvatore's is one of the few places that's never disappointed.
Never.
As far as food goes, right? Every once in a while you get a server that's slow, every once in a while, because that's just the nature of the business. Yeah. But the Irish Cottage, but we got the seafood, which was great, the haddock, which was amazing.
I love haddock.
And we had the Irish nachos, which were also very, very good.
Never heard of that. I've had I think they've.
You got to have the Irish nachos if you go to the Irish Cottage.
Chicken pot pie. Do they make that there?
I think so.
Yeah, it's really good from there.
Who else do we have? Shaken Seafood, Clear Path for Veterans New England, AFC Urgent Care, Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors. And he's also sponsoring our intern girl Cam. Where's the intern girl Cam?
I look like crap again, guys. I promise. I'm going to the salon.
She knows she's going to be on camera. And
I'm going to the salon this week, and I'm going to cut my hair.
Yeah, she purposely comes in all uglied up. And I keep telling her every month, somebody's paying to look at you during the show. And
why can I get away with looking crappy like you?
Well, because you're a woman, and women are not allowed to do that, as you're going to find out when I introduce my next guest.
Oh, yeah. She looks amazing.
Pleasant
she looks like Little Mermaid. No?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, right? Very pretty.
I got to tell you, I love the red hair.
That's true.
If the future Mrs. Duggan did her hair that red, we'd all be in very big trouble. You'd be looking at little Duggans all over the place. Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office. We're cutting them out right now. Somebody just never paid me. 4-Star Lighting, a free shout out to Stadium Chiropractic, my buddy Paul Lambert at Lambert and Ringon. And by the way, it doesn't matter how cold it is outside. It's never too cold for JG's ice cream,
Yummy.
Especially in Methuen. I know they've got one in Salem. Every once in a while, I'll hit the one in Salem if I'm in Salem. But you really should go to the one in Methuen. That's the one that's got the best.
Yeah,
the best
they have
ice
an
cream.
arcade, indoor arcade too.
And I like all kinds of different. Like if I'm going to order a tub of ice cream, I'm not an ice cream guy, but I'll order coffee ice cream if I'm going to get like a half a gallon of ice cream to just sit in my office. But if I'm out getting ice cream like at JG's, I want something like elaborate. I want something with like marshmallows and hot chocolate, and I want chocolate and vanilla ice cream, and I want strawberries on it, and I want like no whipped cream. I hate whipped cream. But just about everything else. I want the sprinkles. I want everything. I want Jimmy's. I want crunches.
Walnuts.
I want no nuts.
I like walnuts.
You can have nuts
with pineapple. The pineapple sauce.
Yeah, pineapple's
my weakness.
not bad. Not bad.
My weakness, right?
You got to have the marshmallow and the chocolate though.
I don't like marshmallow.
That's mandatory. No, you have to like marshmallow. You can't work here if you don't.
I mean, I like, but not on my ice cream. I'm all set. I
No?
like the walnuts and the. I
All
like.
right.
This is what my order.
Do you have a
Butter
producer?
pecan.
Do you have a producer we can replace?
Yes.
Intern
please.
girl, she doesn't like the marshmallows.
Why?
You gotta-
Butter pecan ice cream with the marmalade, the pineapple, and walnuts. That's my favorite. That's it.
All right. I guess that's it. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on nationally. We will talk a little bit more about the ICE stuff that's happening. I can tell you as a concealed carry, I'm just going to, before we get to our local guest, I just want to say this. You know, everybody's watching this thing about Minnesota. First of all, none of what you're seeing is organic, okay? Everything you're seeing is planned. Everything you're seeing is organized. Almost nothing you see on the news is just a bunch of people decided one day to go do something. Mm-hmm. It's almost always organized. It's almost always planned. But if you are a concealed carry, I'm concealed carry. Right? I have 2 guns. I'm not an expert in guns. I'm only an expert in my guns because I have to have guns, right? I have to have something to protect myself. So I'm not a gun nut. I don't know. If you showed me 3 different bullets, I couldn't tell you what the difference was between the different types of bullets. What? Yes.
I have a
your hand
question
is up
about
and-
guns.
Yes, colored it in the back. Yes.
I have a question about guns. You said conceal. That means hiding.
Yep.
Correct. I
Yep.
think all Massachusetts has that. No.
Yeah, but you have to have a permit.
Okay.
So you have to
got
take the class, and you have to go to the police. You have to do a background check, and all these people that say, "Oh, we have to have background checks."
Mentally sane.
You have to be mentally. Listen, you have to go through it's rigorous. It's not like getting a library card where you just sign up. You have to go through the class. You have to do a lot. And especially if you're in a liberal state like Minnesota and Massachusetts, this guy that got shot by ICE, if you are concealed carry and you are carrying a weapon, and especially if your weapon is loaded, you can't be assaulting people. Like, that's a felony. Even if you just punch the guy in the face, it's a felony. If you punch me in the face, that's a misdemeanor. If I punch you in the face and I'm carrying, that's a felony because I have a deadly weapon on me. I have the ability, if I escalate it, anything that happens after that is on me because I'm armed. Okay? And so this is something that every gun owner in Massachusetts knows or should know. It's something every gun owner in Minnesota, which is even more liberal than we are, knows or should know. And that guy that got shot by ICE went over and assaulted police officers. Now, I know I get people jump on my Facebook page. I watched that video 100 times. All he did was get in the cop's face. Right. That's called an assault. Stupid people thinking an assault is touching you. That's not an assault. That's a battery. If you get in someone's face, if you get in someone's space, if you cause them fear by showing aggression toward them, that's an assault. You don't have to touch someone to have it be an assault. Touching someone is a battery. If I get in your face, that's an assault. And if I get in your face and you punch me, that's self-defense because I was aggressive and I got in your face. I don't have to hit you first for you to defend yourself. If you're in fear of me hitting you, you can defend yourself. So when this guy walked up to the ICE agent and assaulted that ICE agent by getting in his face, knowing that he was concealed carry, that he had a weapon, right out of the gate, that's a felony. So the fact that he's dead, that's on him. It's sad for his family, for the people who care about him, and for him that he's no longer with us.
You make choices.
I pray that there's an afterlife, and I pray that he's there. But when he was here...
He's Jewish. You guys believe in that?
Yes.
Okay.
But while he was here, he did something that cost him his life. And for people to be blaming ICE and all this other stuff it's political.
Stay home. Stop
Yep.
getting in the way of federal. Like,
Right.
how is that even legal?
I didn't get dead
If you're
yesterday.
in the Dominican Republic and you get in the way of police officers doing their job, what's gonna happen to you? What's gonna happen to you?
Forget the Dominican Republic. Try that in Lawrence.
Right.
Go up to a Lawrence cop with your phone the way that guy did, and get in their face when they're trying to deal with a specific police thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like if they've got a crime scene that they're dealing with, and you go up and you do that, you're gonna get dead. You're
That's
gonna
true.
get dead, and the cop who shoots you is gonna get an award for shooting you. He's not going to get thrown off the department. He's not going to get sued. He's not going to lose his house. He's going to get an award because you can't be assaulting police officers. I went home yesterday. You know why I went home yesterday alive? Because I didn't get in the cop's face while I was wearing a gun. That's why I went home yesterday.
Smart.
And the rest of us are all still here because we didn't walk up to a cop and get in their face while we were carrying a gun.
He was an RN, correct?
Supposedly.
He could have picked up extra shifts.
Right.
What are you doing?
Well, supposedly he was fired before that all happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
so
there was a
the
video
hospital's
that
now
came out
saying that
today.
he was fired.
I think it was today, where he was 11 days prior to his death, where he was kicking a car.
Yep.
And he didn't get arrested. He kicked the car and like the what is it, the light smashed or something like that. So he's been violent towards ICE agents before.
So in the studio with me, we have one of my favorite people, even though we've really not had much of a conversation over the last few years. In fact, I don't think we've ever.
You're always attacking me.
She is very pretty. I'm
appreciate you.
stuck. You
So-
look amazing.
So are you. Don't take the.
Wow.
She's
dress
better looking
down.
in person than in her pictures.
Right? That's what
I
I'm
agree with
that's what
that.
I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
she's little, she's petite, she's
Right.
good looking. She has a good look. She walked in here like a boss. I don't know.
On
She's giving me
on
future
Dominican
mayor.
time. On Dominican time.
She's
I
giving
must
me
say.
future mayor vibes. I don't
Right.
know.
Oh, she'll definitely be mayor at some point, for sure. Maybe
I
the
hope
next
so.
mayor.
Yeah.
But if
I
not the next mayor,
appreciate you
certainly
guys,
after that.
Being able to see the leadership in me. I
Yeah.
get that comment a
course.
lot.
Well,
so.
but here's the problem. We're going to get to this in a second. The problem that I hear now, and it's good because you're not running for mayor now, so it's good to hear. It's good to hear what your positives and negatives are now.
And if and when the first call would be
Mm-hmm.
to the current mayor, whoever that is at that point, and then I'd probably call you second.
Second?
Yeah, because I am very frontal. So when I think it and I decide, whoever holds that seat, and that's in anything. Like when I ran for the East District, I remember I called East District councilors to see what their tenure was, what their experience was, and I basically said, I think I'm going to run for office, and right there, you can tell body language is very telling, so you can tell whether you have their blessing or not, or.
That's awesome.
But that's how that's me. That's how I
I think
feel.
we should be first because if you call DJ, he's up the ass of the Eagle Tribune, and he will call them to make sure they get the story before I do.
I don't. Well, you have that opinion. I don't think I see that.
You don't see that? That he's up the Eagle Tribune?
So you mean because everything that he wants to put out there, they take? Well, he's the mayor, so they want content.
Well,
no?
because when he does something, I don't get a
so you're
press
jealous?
release.
You're jealous.
Well, I'm a member of the press, and you're sending it to
No,
my.
I know. I
you're sending it to
appreciate
my
that.
competition, but you're not sending it to me.
I agree.
That shows bias.
It should go to everyone.
To me,
I
that shows
agree.
a bias.
Especially
so,
that
agree.
he used to write for the paper.
I
You
got it.
allowed him to do that, right?
but
and you supported him
No,
before.
he wrote for the paper when it was election time, and he thought he could exploit my readers.
He stopped?
And then the minute the election was over, he bailed like the pussy that he is.
No way, he stopped?
Yes, he did.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
like
He wrote
foul language.
He wrote one story for the paper to pretend that he was open-minded with all of the press. And then the minute the election was over, we stopped getting press releases, no ads, no anything. He stopped taking text messages, stopped answering my phone calls. So I'm just saying, like,
I'm tired of these politicians using you, Tom.
I know.
I'm getting really tired.
Well, but it's my fault because I was dumb enough to fall for it again.
Because you're a good person. Deep down inside, you are.
Well,
You're soft-hearted.
let's not be silly
You're soft-hearted.
now.
Yes, you are.
Let's
Oh, my
not-
God, big
let's
time.
not get
Guys, you have
crazy.
no idea. He's a big teddy bear.
No, I'm not. But
No, I think you genuinely, from observing you, I think you do like DJ.
well, I try, but he's not making it easy. He's not making it easy. I like him as a person because I've known him for a long time. But what I'm learning now is that his word just isn't worth anything. And the whole thing with Patricia during the campaign, that stuff you can get past if you sit down and have a conversation. Like if you sit down and you say, listen, Tom, I couldn't tell you at the time, but here's why I did what I did. That's something that anybody can get past when you give your word on something and then something happens and whatever. But not even making the attempt, not even making the effort, not even caring enough to try and smooth that over because now you don't need something. It's not election time, so now you don't need something. And so that's my biggest problem is that we have a state rep that we talk about off the air all the time, who the only time we hear from him is at election time. And then in between election time, he doesn't take the calls, doesn't answer the emails, doesn't. Sometimes he tries to hit on my intern. But, there are people that, like, you only hear from them when it's election time. And then when it's not election time, all of a sudden they're not, they tell you they'll buy ads, they tell you they'll write a story, they'll tell you they'll be at an event, and then they're not because it doesn't benefit them. And I'm with you, intern girl. I'm tired of the politicians using the Valley Patriot, using the show, using me, using you, believe it or not.
At least they can, they can at least give you the news that are coming out. You're not asking for anything money-wise. You're not asking for them to be on the phone all the time with you, but at least give you the news, information, because you are the press. It's not fair.
Listen, they need me more than I need them.
Yeah.
And what they're going to find out, and what DJ's going to find out in the next election, is what the difference is between Tom Duggan being out to get you versus when he wasn't out to get you, but you were telling people he was out to get you. Because in the last election, he wasn't out to get you, and you were telling people he was out to get you. Oh. And the next election, you're going to find out
that you are
what the difference is between those two, and it's going to be a very stark difference. Because in the next election, I'm going to support someone. I didn't support anybody this year. I stayed out of it.
There was no competition.
Next year, I'm actively recruiting now. Now I'm actively recruiting.
Like you did for Central?
And I'm hoping maybe. If
like
not,
you did for Central?
All right, so in the studio we have City Council President, although I get admonished all the time because technically it's Chairman.
That's being changed, I guess.
So
right
do you?
now
Are they changing it again?
Yeah.
What are they going to change it to this time?
They're saying it should be
Person we like. Are they saying what?
It should be president, not chair.
Yeah, I think president probably should work.
I mean, I could care less about the
Long as
title.
it's president, but I get admonished all the time for not using the specific titles because people are obsessed with titles, right? You don't seem like the kind of person that gives a damn about titles. You seem to be the kind of person that cares about substance more than anything.
I think, as you saw, my first term, I was vice chair for 2 years. The first year I came in, I actually would have given up the role of vice chair, but the way I was asked by one councilor kind of instigated me to just push forward. And again, I don't need to throw anyone under the bus.
Oh, no, please do.
But it was like, you're brand new, you shouldn't do this, you may get stepped on, you're a female. And I was like, oh, bring it on.
Right.
And so that's the moment when I said, I will take the chair.
Was Ron a good chairman to be working with?
So Ron was my chair. So the first year, my experience with Aretra was, then Councilor Peretra.
Doesn't even have to need to finish that sentence.
He, I can't say he wasn't a team player when we were in the game, but the advice he gave me, he didn't take for himself, which was, hey, when someone votes against you,
don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal.
Right.
And obviously, I voted on something that he took personal. That's my perception. I could be wrong. If it's different, I wish, because even after that, I texted him. I said, I respect you enough to ask you these questions. Because I feel that we can agree to disagree. It doesn't have to mean that I can't talk to you. We can be adults. I mean, I have disagreements all the time with adults.
By the way, Neily Soto is the city council president who's with us. I just got a message from somebody that said, you introduced her and never said her name. So for those,
okay, thank you.
I didn't say the name.
So I can't speak bad about that chairman other than, at the end it was sticky and it was basically on a person. I felt he took a personal note or offense on something that I wish we would have talked about.
That's the guy from New Hampshire. I'm sorry. Is that the New Hampshire guy?
Yeah, the guy that moved to New Hampshire and pretended he was still living.
So then my next was an ask. It was an ask to Mr. Marsan if he would take that role so that I could better practice being
council president.
Yeah, because I feel that leadership, the only way you can really practice great leadership is if you can elevate others. Mm-hmm. And so I felt that Ron was that person, and he didn't disappoint. I could say.
So I was thinking for this time around, it should be Jana should be council president now.
I wanted
so
her
that
to
you're
be
council president going into the next election.
I wanted her to be council
me
president
too.
now. But Jana's Jana. I love Jana.
She didn't want it?
No. She didn't even really want to be vice, and then she said, "I'll be vice."
Okay.
So
See, I was thinking,
have
her be chairman now, then have you be chairman next year going into re-election. So if you decide to run for mayor, you're running as the council president.
A lot of I'm not a true politician.
Right.
A lot of the people I deal with day to day, and I can say it to their face because they know who's in this for being a politician. I don't consider myself an actual politician. I don't do strategy like that. Right. So I'm here just because I feel it's time. Next time around, I think somebody else in that group should have that opportunity.
We were trying to figure out on election night who was going to be council president, both in Lawrence and Methuen. So we are strategic that way. And we were looking at Lawrence going, well, Wendy Luzon lost, so there's no way Giovanni Rodriguez is going to be council president again because she was his fourth vote.
That
and
was a surprise.
Who would have known Anna Levy would sell out and go, oh, okay, no, I'm gonna go against the mayor and everyone who just held the sign for me, and I'm going to vote for that guy. So that was a little surprise. But we were doing it that night. So it shouldn't be a surprise to you that others are strategizing over your leadership positions.
The thing with other communities, I don't follow them as closely as I follow mine. Maybe I should.
You all should, by the way. You should all be following Haverhill and Lawrence.
But they are good colleagues. I can't say they're not. So, for example, when we reach out to either of the neighboring municipalities, council to council, they're readily available for us, and I enjoy that.
Lawrence City Council is the best city council I've seen in about 50 years. And they put Methuen, no offense to Methuen, but they put Methuen to shame. During the election, they all hate on Brian DePina, and then when the election is over, they're all posing in photos with him. They're not like Methuen. They're not the Dan Shabilias or the Kelsey Shabilias of the world where they're just attacking people all the time.
I feel that, you do that, so you can't judge.
Yeah, but I'm not an elected official.
You do.
I'm not an elected official.
True. It puts people in other buckets.
This is my job.
I can see what you're saying, but
see how quick she was to throw me under the bus? See?
I know.
See, she comes on the show.
She came ready, Tom.
You have to be realistic, right? So, and again, you're a journalist. That's your method, and that's how you're successful. And you've been doing it. You're consistent. You've been doing it forever. And I respect that, right? I respect the fact that today you're sitting with me, but tomorrow something comes out about me and you're going to say it because that's consistency, right?
Well, yeah.
So at the end of the day,
that's my job.
Yeah, I respect that.
I think it depends. If it's something really personal, he will call you and tell you what's going on, right, Tom? Or am I wrong?
You're right. The difference between being my friend and not being my friend in this business is I will give you a heads up if something's coming if you're my friend. Yeah. And now I will also do that to people who aren't my friend if I think they deserve it, right? Like there's a certain elected official, they go out, they do something wrong, I find out about it, I know the Tribune's got the story, so I have to write it. I'm going to call them and say, listen, it's out. Everybody knows I have to write the story. Yeah. So I just want to let you know.
But it shouldn't be a problem that he does that because people do the right thing.
Brian DePina is one of my best friends in the world. And if you guys think that he liked what I did to his homeless coordinator for 2 years on the front page of my paper, you guys are crazy. So just being my friend doesn't mean you get a free pass. It just means that you get a little bit of a heads up. That's all.
So with that being said, there's a lot of journalists out there. So they call themselves journalists. Like I got a call yesterday from a so-called journalist. So can you clarify what qualifies you as a journalist? Like, obviously schooling and preparation.
Well, I would say to be a journalist, you have to be someone who is objectively reporting news. 100%. So I do two things. I have several hats. We come in here, we do a show, I talk about my opinion, but when I'm writing a newspaper story, when I'm writing a story on valleypatriot.com, unless it says it's a column, unless it's got my picture, it says paying attention, which is the name of my column. Otherwise, it's a news story. We wrote a story yesterday about a guy in Lawrence who was arrested for selling fentanyl. It was his third time or something. There was no opinion anywhere in this. This guy's a bad guy for selling fentanyl. It was just the news story. So if you're presenting objective news, then you are a journalist. You obviously should have some training and experience in it. I guess technically you don't have to, but you should. And if you're going to be a journalist, you have to be able to objectively present news.
And I think that's what's missing when we're, if you're calling yourself a journalist and your opinions inserted in that article, then that's what is damaging, I would say.
You'll notice the Valley Patriot website, there's no opinion. On the Valley Patriot website, it's just news.
Thank you for that distinction, because I didn't catch it.
And then on my page, I'll post something, and someone who doesn't know me will come on and go, I thought you were a journalist. That sounds like an opinion. And I'm like, listen, if you want just the news, go to the Valley Patriot Facebook page.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you want my personal opinion, you can come to my page. Now, I also share news on my page because it's my personal page. But if I'm like somebody last night came on, I shared a video that was out there. It turned out the video was AI. I didn't know that. And they went, some journalist you are. I'm like, well, are you doing your job at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're laying on the couch? Like, I'm just sharing a video. I'm not being a journalist at 2 in the morning when I'm laying on my couch. So I think a lot of people don't know what journalism, they don't know what journalism is. That's objectively presenting the news without any kind of opinion.
You see that? We learned something new, Carlota.
So, for example, and this is one of the problems that I have with CNN, right? So CNN, Anderson Cooper comes out and he gives you 10 minutes of news. And then he goes to an opinion panel where they sit there and they talk about the news and give their opinions for an hour at the news desk. And that's the problem. That's why people look at Fox News. It's called Fox News. But most of what you watch is opinions. At the top of the hour, they've got a separate news division. But CNN doesn't. CNN doesn't have a separate news division. So their opinion makers are also presenting news, whereas Sean Hannity comes out and does his stupid opinion show, and I hate Sean Hannity, that's why I use him as an example. But then he'll go to James Rosen, who's an actual journalist, and say, and now it's the top of the hour, we're going to go to James Rosen, who's live in New York with a news story. He's not presenting the news story because he's an opinion maker. And so that's the difference. You look at CNN, it's all opinion because their news people are also giving opinion. At least on Fox, you have a separate news division and a separate opinion division, for lack of a better word.
They separate it.
And I think too many people don't know the difference anymore because of that. Because at the national level, we've blurred that line so much. But if you're like a Dan Shabilia and you want to go out there and you want to objectively report on something and you can do it without inserting your opinions, then you could be a journalist. But you've got to do it over a period of time.
Who are you talking about?
That guy, what's his name? The guy that got thrown out of office in Methuen. Shabilia.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Kelsey's wife.
I know
Kelsey's
what you're
wife,
talking about now.
Shabilia. Anyways, that's a long answer to a short question, I guess.
So now that you say that, I can see why you separate. You have a personal page and you have that.
The Valley Patriot page, right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the real difference. Anybody can be a journalist, but you have to go out and do it. Like, you have to do the work. You have to go to a meeting, you have to report on the meeting, and you have to have no opinion in it. And then you're going to do it again, like the following week. Like, you have to actually go out and do the job. It's a job. It's a profession. It's not something you can just do in between your other jobs that you're doing. It's actually a profession. Like Anderson Cooper, this is his job every day. Right? James Rosen, that's his job every day. What's her name up at the Globe? That's her job every day. You know, Jill Hemazinski up at the Tribune, as bad of a reporter as she is a reporter. This is her job every day. And she's not out pretending she's a lawyer one day and pretending she's a bookkeeper another day and pretending she's a school board member another day and running for office another day and a radio host one day. Like, this is like your profession. So what made you want to run for this? Like, you're a very successful, if anybody Googles you, they find out you're a very...
My husband says, why would you even think of it? And so, and I'll be completely honest. It's not a secret to anyone that I've been in the real estate industry now 23 years.
That's what I was going to say.
Thank you to Janet McLennan for being
I love her.
The OG and the godmother of...
Are you still working with her, or are you separate now?
So I deal with her in business, and I'm very friendly with the family, and they have a really special place in my heart, and she knows I'm grateful for everything she did for me and my colleagues, because we were... the first, I would say, cohort of Latinos that came into real estate. And I had made a comment the other day on Facebook. I'm like, Harvard should do a case study on her, because she made millionaires in that first decade, I want to say first 10 years of us going into the industry, like she was baking. She was literally turning young Latinas and Hispanics into this market on, like, this is how you sell property, this is how you turn property, this is how you invest your dollars, this is how you grow. And you do it again and again and again and again. And you can see the example across the board. My colleagues now, have hundreds of units across the Merrimack Valley. They're very well off. I mean, I can name them all to you. And Patricia was a colleague back then. One thing you guys didn't know, and I'll share it here publicly, and the audience doesn't know. Patricia and I were arch enemies. Is that what you say?
Really?
You can't stand each other. Oh, yeah.
I can see that.
I
totally can see that.
Two very strong Hispanic women.
Well, because she's very outgoing and she's very, very conservative.
And Patricia couldn't stand me. And I would approach, because I'm very, I don't want to say rico suave, but I have a way of handling people and, being...
well, you're outgoing, and she's very introverted.
You're in the business of people, so I get it.
She's very introverted, so it would make sense that you guys wouldn't...
Yeah, it wasn't until later on in career life that we bumped into each other at a networking event, and I told her I was running for office, and I'll go back to the question you asked. And I said, you should consider it, because there's nobody running in the West. And it wasn't like we were buddy, chump, chump, or we were calling... No. That's actually the beginning of, like, how do we navigate this together as women that could sit next to each other here and there and support each other in a way. But she's very strong with her opinions. She disagrees with me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I
disagree with you a lot, too.
Yeah, I'm
In
sure.
fact,
Really?
she's pretty left-wing. I disagree with her on almost everything, actually, at this
Can
point.
I just correct something? Latina, that's correct.
Yeah.
That means your origin
Yeah,
from
yeah,
a
yeah.
Latin American country, and Hispanic means that you're a Spanish person, a Spanish-speaking person. That's it.
Gracias.
You know that. Sorry, I went to a
Yeah.
social school.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
okay.
I love
Social
it.
issue
I love
school.
All
it.
these
That's
titles are supposed to mean something different.
Phillips Academy. You know how it is.
One
like,
other thing that this show does is when I pop in, I always learn something. That's why I pointed out earlier the journalism.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so why did I run for office? I am in the real estate industry. I've been there for this long. There was a constituent, now my constituent, called me and said, "Hey, you sell property. I know that you could help me. I bought a house on such and such street, and my neighbor's making my life impossible." And I said, "Okay." I wasn't a politician yet. I wasn't thinking of running for office. I said, "Are you thinking of selling your home?" And she said, "Would you come look at it?" And as I'm talking to her, the lady's telling me her nightmare with this neighbor. And it was like she couldn't move from A to B without the lady calling the cops or calling, like everything she did bothered the lady that had been there 40 years or so prior to her moving in.
I think we've all had a neighbor like that somewhere along
and
the
so
way.
but one of the things that bothered me was that the neighbor would say things like, and I don't use bad words, but she'll say like, "You effing
B.
S."
Stupid.
No.
Oh.
For Spanish people.
Yeah. You
Oh.
go back to Lawrence. This
Pics.
is, yeah.
Pics.
And so at the end of the day, I was like, wow, people are still out there doing this kind of stuff. Like in my environment of business, everyone's so proper and we all have a common goal, and it's to get that business deal completed. So we have mutual respect, and there's a way we walk around life when you're in the business environment that for me to see a neighbor, and I guess I'm just too cordial with my neighbors. I've never had that experience, where I reside. Business, we could talk about that later, on a business that my husband owns, which was a similar experience, and that's what connected the dot. And I said, wow, this is so prevalent in Methuen, and the issue is that these people don't see someone like them up there.
Yeah.
And that's the moment the light bulb turned on. And I said, I'm going to run for office because it has to start with someone, and that's going to be me.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
I think if DJ was smart enough to listen to people like me instead of the people he listens to, he would have hired, when Rita Christine left as his chief of staff, he would have hired a Latina or someone who speaks Spanish working in his office, because a large number of people in Methuen,
It's not a secret that we don't have enough representation.
there's no representation.
In City Hall, how
City
many
Hall.
Latinos work there?
So, oh God,
Like none?
like
Almost none-
7.
none to
No, like
exist.
7. And I'm vocal about this. I mean, the mayor knows. And you don't. And I also believe this. You don't have to be Latino to be bilingual.
Right.
You could speak a different language and work there. There's not much of that either. So,
But there's no effort. My point is, there's no effort for outreach to the Latino community in Methuen, and that is shown by the fact that they're not doing anything in City Hall to try and accommodate some of those people. Now, I'm the last person in the world to say, and I know you were the first Latina Spanish councilor, and I don't like these firsts. This is not 1945. However,
I feel there's an issue with first, and I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah.
People think, oh, great, congratulations. Being the first is actually, I don't want to say an insult, but it's actually tougher because now there's so much pressure on you. I am telling you, I walk out this door, and if, let's say, I was in a social setting and I had one drink, I would Uber.
Right.
Because I know someone's looking.
oh, there's always
Well, you have
somebody.
to run so people behind you can walk.
Well,
Exactly.
Samad's got people following you guys everywhere you go. If
I
you're on the
wouldn't say
opposite
that.
side, you wouldn't
Tom
say
knows
it.
where
I'll say
people go
it.
to eat and stuff like that.
I'll
It's
say it.
weird. It's weird.
I'll say it.
People tell you that they're following me?
Following all the councilors.
Yeah.
Oh.
All the councilors that are not on board with certain people are getting followed. So you'll see it.
I mean,
you'll see it. You'll see it.
I'm
So-
pretty-
Now that you
somebody's
know.
somebody's going to catch
they're
somebody
gonna be
doing
like,
something.
this girl's pretty boring.
Yeah. Well, they used to follow me, but I don't leave the house now, so there's
Well-
nothing to follow.
Unless you used to go to the massage places, Tom, in Methuen.
yeah, the massage
Careful.
places. Only the ones that I owned, though. That was, because I had to get free services.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Massage services. So you decided to run. You're running. Was being the first Latina even a factor when you ran, or were the people of Methuen just like, no, we like her?
I won with the Italian vote.
Yeah, really? Oh, because you're in the East End. Well, you
yeah.
can't win without the Italian vote. It's
Yeah,
all Italian.
Those are my peeps. And
all the bananos.
yeah. No, what I'm saying is they, and I can publicly say this because it was over and over and over, they felt that I would encounter what they did. as Italian families in the valley. So that tells me before them, they didn't go into much detail. Was it Irish before Italian in Methuen? There must have been some stuff there.
Well, as Latinos started moving into the Newbridge Street area in Lawrence, although that used to be an Italian neighborhood, they fled, but they came to East Methuen, which was not developed that much back then. So it was mostly Irish people who had already fled Lawrence from South Lawrence when Latinos started moving in there.
Yeah.
It's a chain.
But I feel the valley is very tight-knit, very connected. It is changing. Methuen is changing. I mean, we're 46% right now. I believe it is, and I think you were going to give that data. It might have changed by now. The last census, I think, was 46% were Hispanic in Methuen, but there's no representation, so I call it the Sleeping Beauty. You go to Lawrence, Haverhill, because there's some representation there, some in Lowell, Drake it to some extent, very minimal, but some. And you consume there, so they're not spending any of their dollars in Methuen because they don't feel identified. So what that
how can they when City Hall has done nothing to bring in businesses that will cater to the Latino vote, the cater to Latino dollars? There are no bodegas. There's not. I love quipes.
Well, let's keep.
There's
the
no
bodegas.
place to get quipes in Methuen.
Let's keep the bodegas at.
There are bodegas.
Yeah,
Polanco
but
bodega.
you're gonna keep. So there's another thing with me. I'm very structured.
Wait, I'm getting pushed back on bodegas.
No, there's enough bodegas already.
No, so
in Methuen.
I feel that there is.
Where?
There is.
So I'm very like. I don't want to say, is it conservative when it comes to landscape and the way I want the aesthetics of how I like things to look?
How did I become the most liberal person sitting up here today? How did that happen?
Wait, no, I want to be transparent. That's the God honest truth. So I think certain things fit in certain areas, and they should go there. And again, when I deal with a lot of business people, and when they're asking me, should I go here? I say, oh, that's not the community that's going to work in. So I can see that. But yeah, I don't think bringing in more bodegas into Methuen is what we need.
We can do other businesses, Tom. We have law offices.
Where can I go to get quipes and chicharrones in Methuen? I can't go anywhere.
We can do a restaurant. We can have a restaurant.
You can get your quipes right there at any of the Lebanese restaurants. Let's get real.
Well, yeah, but those aren't quipes.
Those are the original ones.
Those are the original.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
He wants the fried,
I want Polo Central quipes. I want chicharrones. I want the. There's two types of bananas. I always screw them up, but the one that's sweet, the sweet bananas. I want those.
Maduro.
I don't like the ones that are flat and dry.
Think of Maduro, sweet, like the president of Venezuela.
Right.
It's sweet. That
and what are the other ones that are flat and?
Just fritos, like regulars.
Fritos.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
We don't consume that a lot.
But I guess my point is that if you're a young Spanish family and you move into Methuen tomorrow, what is there for you? Well, what is there for you? There's almost nothing for
There's
you.
There's tequilas.
But
that's a chain. I mean, where is the mom and pop?
No, it's not. It's owned by
what I like to do is capture some of those dollars right in the city, and it doesn't have to be in a Spanish restaurant. Because again, just because you're Latina doesn't mean all you eat is Spanish food. I eat everything.
No, but it'd be nice to find some Spanish rice somewhere in Methuen.
Oh, it'd be nice to have a fancy, nice Spanish restaurant or
it's not a chain. We don't want a chain. We don't want a Chili's.
I would love Terra Luna vibes back in the day. That type of vibe in Methuen.
Yeah.
We can have a wine, there's some jazz playing, something soft, calm for people after work.
Nice.
I don't know.
That would be nice.
I would love to do it.
All right, thanks for coming, kids. Good night. How is it that I turned out to be the only liberal on this panel? It's unbelievable. So you win, you win, you get in, and then now you take office. Is it what you thought it was? My favorite question.
Absolutely not. I had a 9 month.
It's my favorite question.
I could have had a pregnancy and given birth and been surprised. Let's just say it that way. 9 months honeymoon, I called it. And I had a rude awakening where I was like, the questions you ask would provide the answer. Basically on how, so I had to learn how to reframe the questions to make sure I got the answer.
Right.
Because most of the time I'm asking the question already knowing the answer.
Right. Well, when you ask a question of a politician, especially in Methuen, they're going to answer the exact question that even though they know what you really want to know, they're going to answer the exact question, and they're not going to really answer what you really want to know. So you've got to tailor your question to be as exact as you can. Otherwise, they're gonna find a way to not give you the answer that you're really looking for.
Well, I'll give you an example. Last meeting, I think one of our counselors asked a question. It was a number question, and there was this dance, all from two different people, and he couldn't. And at the end of I said, "Did you get the number? Because you asked for a specific number." He says, "No" to me. I said, "What's the number?" Mm-hmm. The question was about how many employees are currently doing that.
Right.
And that wasn't. So I feel that happens a lot in the space that we're in. You ask a specific question, and if you look at my questions, they're very punctual, like A, B, or C, or is it A?
Right.
You know, and so I struggle with that still. But that was a huge and then awakening for me. And then the other part is I got so good at doing the homework, so good that I can uncover things without even wanting to uncover them. And when I say uncovering, it doesn't mean that they're bad things. It just means that I find out something new every day that exists that I had no clue existed in Methuen or for Methuen. And that's what happens when you get so intertwined and enjoying what you're doing. Because I'm not going to lie, I enjoy it. What I don't enjoy is the bickering that there is. It's, I don't want to call it competition, but it's the buddy, chump, posse system, playground bullshit, and excuse my French, that happens in politics. And I don't think it's necessary. I think you don't have to like me.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Girl, I don't even want to sit with you for coffee. We don't have to do that. At the end of the day, but we could say, hey, I don't think that the idea you're placing on the table for me is what I'd like to see. Let me tell you what I think would work. And I may be like, oh, you know what? There's a midpoint to that. Absolutely. And again, we could be on both ends, but then we need to advocate for our positions and convince these other people. And maybe they come up with the mid-ground where you're happy, I'm happy, but overall they're happy. Because when I come from a position, I've done my research. I've talked to people. The Seals Estate, nobody will tell you. I sat in front of Market Basket and I asked the question. You know what people would say to me outside Market Basket about should we buy the Seals Estate? What are you talking about? I couldn't even pay for groceries right now, and you want to raise my taxes?
Right.
Because that's where we are right now, right? We're carrying that burden. So when they're saying, "Oh, she wants to bring in development into Methuen," is that your comeback? Because if you want to preserve, yeah, I want to preserve with you, but it's how are we practicing responsible stewardship for the city of Methuen when you want, and I say you, but obviously it's a group of people that obviously want to preserve, which is fine. I'm for it.
The insiders.
I'm for it, but bring me the plan. Now, when you buy something without a plan, we have a problem. And that's where we are right now. Because who's that problem on the burden of whose backs? The taxpayer. So anybody that pays taxes in Methuen right now, all right, it's very nice to say, let's preserve it. Let's preserve it. But it's irresponsible to just say, let's preserve it. The plan has to be put into place, and it has to include economic development. You don't want housing in there? Don't put it. I could care less. But bring something else that's going to bring you revenue. What I thought should have happened from the beginning, and maybe I skipped some of your questions, but this is emotional to me.
That's
because
fine
you got to
with me.
understand, you're talking to a person that's been doing this for 23 years. On the residential and on the commercial side. I've been said that I'm involved, that I had a buyer. That's all bullcrap. Bring me the contract.
Right.
Why Methuenites, like whenever they find something out about you, the first thing they do is put it like this on Facebook, and you haven't been able to provide a contract. Right. But it's because it doesn't exist. At the end of the day, what I thought should happen there, and again, we can agree to disagree, it's let's bring in a partnership. Let's bring in someone that's willing to give us the place for $1. Because do you think you want a problem? I don't want that problem. Nope. As somebody that's coming in to invest dollars into Methuen. Here's your property.
I think it's something that should have gone on the ballot.
For $1. And what you should do, you know what? That's actually a great idea.
I think it should have gone on the ballot.
That's actually a great idea.
Let the voters decide, and then nobody can complain afterwards.
Listen, everybody walking out of Market Basket said, what are you talking about? What did that tell me?
Yeah, nobody cares.
That we were going to vote on something that our constituency, only the loud minority was screaming about.
Right.
An organized few. And that bothered me.
There's two issues that I want to get to before we end the show today. And so I want to get them out now, in case we get distracted. We'll get to the schools in a second. I don't want to forget the schools. But there's an issue that keeps coming up, and I don't understand why the mayor, and maybe you can clear some of this up. So there are a bunch of unincorporated streets in Methuen. So what that is developers promise the town that they will pave the road for all kinds of tax breaks. And they go in and they build a development, but they don't pave the road. So now the people who buy those properties are paying big taxes because they're big buildings. They're expensive buildings, but they're on a road that has no paving. And so now the neighbors of a lot of these unincorporated roads that have been unincorporated for decades are coming to the city saying, look, we're paying all kinds of money in taxes. You're not paving our road. You're not plowing our road because it's not paved. When can we get back on the dole? When can we actually become a part of this community that we're paying for but not getting services for?
So,
and the mayor put a stop to that. And I don't understand that at all.
Okay, so let's talk about, I want to give you some history so that then we can dive in and we can talk about, that's my love-hate relationship with DJ, and he knows it because him and I discussed this at length. And I understand where he's coming from, but I'll tell you my position. So the history of Methuen, and in our committee, we've come to the assumption, because it's an assumption, that some people were not doing their job in the tenure of this, following up with what they had to follow up to get the streets accepted. You could say that's valid, maybe not, because it's an assumption. I want to be clear. Second, we had a fire in the history of Methuen. Papers were lost. We've been told we've had a flood. Papers were lost. And in essence, some developers that developed these streets never never followed up on the process. But really, is it the developer's fault to not follow up on the process? I think we, as a city, have the burden of having to have them do that,
Right.
don't we? Because the constituents are going to pay us taxes, right? So we should make sure that those streets are accepted. Now, not everybody wants their street accepted. I want to be clear.
Really?
On that. Yeah.
Who would
And
not want their street accepted?
And I'll give you an example. So right now, and I think they were using a narrative that, we were doing it for personal gain. That's a common narrative right now out there. Whenever I can tell you, if one of my counselors sponsors something, they're going to use, I can tell you before it hits the agenda, the narrative that's going to be pushed on
Right.
it. Because I've read it over and over and over again so many times. But anyways, on this particular issue, so anything built, and it was like 1950, so we have a consultant, Mr. Mike Walsh, which I am grateful for him on that committee. Michael Walsh has been able to dig up so many streets that, by the way, we're receiving Chapter 90 dollars on that don't exist.
Wow.
So we got an issue here. That's number one. Number two.
Stop paving those roads, or you're going to stop paying people
Well,
back.
they don't exist.
Right.
So how are we going to pay
What I'm saying
them?
is pay the roads that you actually have, or you're going to end up losing
They don't
some of those
exist, though.
dollars that are coming in.
So in essence, so people come forward and say, "Hey, I've been third generation on this street," which is very common in Methuen, by the way. You have grandmother, daughter, now the grandchild has the home, possibly no mortgage, and they, whatever, pay the taxes, and they don't want to live there because they don't want to leave their home, right? But they're not happy with the conditions on the street. And so they'll say, I've been here, I'm a third generation, and my street has never been, I've asked my grandmother passed, my mom said that never paved then, never. They've covered the holes, but they've never paved the street. Now, here goes either of the three counselors that are on that committee. And what we do is when you call me, we actually go out and drive by and see the actual condition of the street. Okay? Now, and I have an answer for, is it Mr. David Consoli? He came on the show. I got to come back for him. David, I'm
Consoli.
coming for you.
We love you, David.
Yeah, I like him too. So anyways, I like everybody actually.
He
I'm
gets
not gonna-
crapped on, though. I don't like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
You don't even have to say that. You have your opinions. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. No, but I
You're
have
able
something
to.
for him. He had a question for me, and I'd like to answer it for him. So anyhow, so what we started looking closely at these streets, and we're saying, oh my God, yes, these streets are in really bad condition. So we were trying to get them paved. Then we find out it's illegal. You can't pave them because there's not. Well, that's not 100% accurate. If it's a safety issue, the fire chief and the police chief can write a letter to the mayor, and the mayor could act on it. Could is the word. Okay. Now something happens, and that letter exists. Those constituents could come back to the city, and we could be in more trouble. But anyways, so we see that this is repetitive. Now we probably got on the first year we were getting acquainted with this all. Second year, it was Marsan Valley and myself in that committee. We got more traction because of Mr. Welch, and we got like 27 requests, different streets. Okay. And so we're like, wow, this is a huge issue in the city. What are we going to do about it? So anyhow, there was a resolution that we wrote that was a big ordeal about the 5 streets, and that's where Mr. David Consoli said, "Oh, whose friends are they?" There's one thing, myself, I can speak for myself. Councilor Valley has stated the same. Obviously, Ron Marsan has been in Methuen forever, but I can tell you, nobody in that committee has anybody on those streets.
Mm-hmm.
No relatives, no friends, no one. The way the methodology for those streets, and the one street he questioned, it's accepted by the state, but not by the city. So what does that tell you? We're receiving dollars from the state for that street. That's why it was added.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not paving their street. So in essence, I'm paying you for a service,
and you're
not doing it.
Right.
And so that's an issue.
So why is DJ trying to put a stop to?
So that's the history. I gave you kind of like the process. Now let me tell you, I'll go back to why some people don't want it. So there's a famous developer in Methuen. I don't recall his last name. He passed away. His son still lives in one of the developments. And every time he's pissed off at a neighbor and the neighbor has a visitor, he tows the car. Because he owns the damn street and he can.
Really?
Yeah. So when they
That's
call
hilarious.
So when they call,
I want to be friends with that guy.
So, anyways, he does that, and now he doesn't want that street to be public way.
Right.
He owns it. He basically owns
the street.
It. Yeah.
And there's people living on that street.
Yeah, and it's a private way. So, what I'm saying is that those things happen. So. At the end of the day, there are some private ways, and others can't because they have an association and they run under their association or their condos and they're private. Now, to the question on the mayor. So there was this concept of Councilor, I can't do that because it's illegal. And he's not wrong to a certain extent. The word isn't illegal. The word is we have to figure out that the funds aren't tax dollars. Right? Because what I originally tried to do was say, okay, so let's look at every constituent on these streets and their bucket of tax dollars. Let's take a percentage and let's put it in a revolving fund. That was my issue.
Sounds like a way to solve the problem to me.
Let's solve it. But the solicitor looked into it because, again, everything you see on the table has to go through the legal department.
Right.
And he says, Counselor, actually, we can't do that. I dove into it and I said, okay. So now we go back and we say, okay, so then what
So
can
why
we do?
can't you do that, by the way? Like, why
Because
can't you just take some of that money?
That's why the Chapter 90. So you can't use tax dollars to pave a street that we don't own. It's like private property. It's like me saying, hey, Carlota, where do you live in Methuen? Oh, I'm going to go pave your driveway.
Okay.
So you see what I'm saying? Private property, because it's not deeded to the city.
All right, so we'll deed the street to the city. And
that
the city
I
can pave it.
understand. So let's go back now. To deed the street to the city, you need a surveyor, meets and bounds, delineate from where to where is going to be owned by the city, number one. But aside from meets and bounds, you also need, right, engineering, survey, an attorney for the legal part. So it's a whole other bucket of consultants. Well, I think the legal part, we have someone in our office that could do it, one of the assistants to the solicitor. But the other two, we haven't had a city engineer in how many years? We can't do it. So, and then there's money behind that too. So to accept a street could be $20,000. So when you look at how many streets, it's 202 streets that are unaccepted. Now, hence, we don't want to accept them all.
How did this happen for so long?
Well, it's not rare in community, so I don't want to put it as a narrative like, oh my God, Methuen. No, it's not uncommon. I don't want to push something that is not true. The God honest truth is that a majority of those should be accepted. Those people are paying taxes. They were developed, and they were supposed to be deeded back to the city, and they weren't, and that's not their fault. Okay, and what I find out is that most people don't know that. Most people don't know they're on an unaccepted road.
I have David. He said, tell Councilor Soto, I said, thanks for the explanation. Paving the street in question helps me because I own property on the street. I just think the street was not as bad as many others in the city.
And I agree with him. But the difference is, because we're receiving those dollars, they should be paving it. But the discrepancy is, the state says, yeah, here's your dollars for it. But the city says, well, it's not we don't own it.
How much is the state giving per street?
So it's millions of dollars a year.
No, but let's say for one street.
So
an average street. Let's say a dead-end street.
Okay, I can tell you what it may cost to fix a street. I don't know what we receive per street. That would be something.
No, but you're saying there's a process to, to do the deed, for the city to own it. You said 20,000.
It could cost about.
Does the state cover? Can the state cover that with the amount that they give for the paving?
I don't think so. No, and I haven't looked into if there's any grant dollars or anything available. Okay. That's a good question, because you know what? We're meeting. Councilor Valley's the chair of that committee now, and she's calling a meeting soon, and so that I'll make sure that gets on the agenda. Okay. And you'll hear that answer soon. But anyhow, so that's that. Now, to the mayor's point, the mayor's saying, I can't. It's like pay, and I understand that point. But the thing is, we need to start somewhere as far as like, okay, take these 5 streets that we put on that resolution and let's do the work. Because I'm about solutions. I'm a solutions-based person.
Let's just fix the problem.
And we got to start, right? Same thing, and we'll go to the schools after. But when I threw the grenade you guys should be asking yourselves, maybe you should go into, oh my God, they've hit me so much with that receivership question. But let me point something out to you. I'm having issues in my household, let's say, with my man. Okay. And I said,
which we all know would never happen.
I said, no, we do. This guy and I,
Nobody's perfect.
But nobody's perfect. And if
of course she is. Look at her.
And if I had issues and I said, oh, everything's, glory, then I'd be lying. Because, at the end of the day, and I say, listen, you fix it or we get divorced. You got 2 options, or separated, whatever. That's a grenade or not? Mm-hmm. Do you think he's going to assess differently? Mm-hmm. That's my point. So the conversations have to start happening. And you have to say, what are you going to do? ¿Qué van a hacer? Mm-hmm. Right? Because then that opens everybody else to like, well, what if it does happen because we're not doing what we're supposed to do? I want results. And so that's why you do that.
I'm a big fan of local control, and I've been fighting for local control in Lawrence forever. But I look at what's going on in Methuen, and without at least the threat of receivership, these people are not going to do anything to stop the fact that 70% of kids can't read, 73% of kids in Methuen can't do math, and they graduate 86.5% of their kids. That means the vast majority can't read, the vast majority can't do math, and they're graduating the vast majority anyway, putting them out into the real world unprepared, completely unprepared. And so when you talked about receivership, I cheered, because even though I'm against receivership in general, I think there are times when you need to use receivership as a tool to get people off their ass to do the work. Because if they don't, then maybe we should be talking about actual receivership, because you can't have a school system where 70% of your kids can't read, but you're graduating them anyway.
So I feel there's an opportunity.
Dan Shabilia.
There's an opportunity right now where you have a new school committee. Mm-hmm. Let's see how. I thought the last meeting was excellent. I saw harmony for once in a long time. And I felt, behind the camera, maybe it's different. Again, I don't have constant communications with any of the school committee members, but I can tell you that the mayor is trying to do his part right now to kind of bring us together. We had our first joint meeting not too long ago about the audit, which I thought was a joke. But joke. I said that publicly there. I didn't think we should have spent that kind of money for someone telling me it's out of my scope, it's out of my scope, it's out of my scope. And
they love to do that.
We handpicked the people that were going to be interviewed. I don't like that. If we're going to be transparent, let's do it the right way.
Yeah, there was no transparent with any of that.
But again, that's my personal opinion, not the opinion of my council.
But you're right.
And I want to say that, right? And I said it at the end because I couldn't sit there the entire meeting and not verbalize what I was feeling. That's just the way I operate. At the end of the day, do I feel, for example, our acting superintendent right now, I feel she's good. I haven't dealt with her, but I feel her background. I did my little research. I think her headspace in the right place. Whether she'll remain, I don't know, because they got to do their thing. Personally, in a school where we're 70% minorities, I think you need to be able to have. I was going to say constituent, but you need to have mirror that. So you need more teachers that are minorities. You need more leadership that's minority, and potentially a superintendent.
It's a ring, some mafia in schools.
That is well.
It's hard to break.
I think you need a conservative.
Even Lawrence has a mafia in the schools.
I think you need a conservative male Latino superintendent in Lawrence. Someone to come in. Listen, I know the midget hates him, but I don't think Ralph would be a bad choice. I think
I've worked with Ralph.
Someone like Ralph would be good.
I don't know him. I don't know the gentleman.
My biggest donor doesn't like him, so we have a big civil war going on in the Valley Patriot office because I served with Ralph. I served with Ralph on the school committee back in God help us all, 1997, 8, and 9. I served on the school committee with Ralph. But what Methuen really needs, what I think Methuen really needs, is a conservative, maybe not male, but a conservative Latino or Latina superintendent who's going to come in and not be concerned with the woke bullshit, that's not going to be concerned with the political baloney, that doesn't care about transgender bathrooms and global warming and Trump is a fascist, but is going to go in and see 70% of the kids can't friggin' read, and then put an action plan together for academic achievement so that at the end of 3 years of a contract, 70% of the kids can read. That number should be the exact opposite. It should be 70%. In fact, if I came in and said 30% of the kids in Methuen can't read and 70 can, that would still be outrageous. Even if you reverse those numbers, that would be outrageous. They came to you and they said all kinds of, I want to come back to what you said about how the things that they tell people in order to stop the public from knowing, it's not within your purview, it's not within your scope. Well, they tried that.
It is. We're the authority.
Of course it is. You
We're
vote
the
on the school
appropriating
budget.
Body. It is.
So my solution is every single city councilor, when the budget comes up in June and the school department budget comes before you, you vote to give them exactly what you gave them last year and not one more penny because it's not within your scope. Not within my scope to give you more money. So until you change that 70% number and reverse it, or at least show that you're starting to reverse it, we're not giving you any more money. We're level funding you from last year, and next year we're going to do the same because the only thing these people understand is money. That's the only thing they care about. These woke educators only care about the money going into their pocket, paying their mortgage, and paying their family. And they don't care about the kids. They don't care about education. They don't care about anything.
I feel, though, that the student-facing positions are aware of how much they have to give with so little that they have, and most are underpaid. Like the newer teachers, when I look at the different,
But how is that possible? They're spending what's $119 million? Like
we're all heavy at the top, and that's my observation. Now I can tell you that if our teachers were more supported, I feel that. And that's in every aspect, right? Maybe things would be differently, but understanding the audit and understanding the environment that they were in, it's hard to speak up when you feel you're going to lose your job and you're not going to be able to feed your family. So I understand that from them, So at the end of the day...
Well, cut the funding and then they won't have a job and then they'll have to make a decision whether they want to speak up or they don't.
At the end of the day, there were teachers reaching out to us and telling us how they felt and in the environment that they were working in and in the conditions that they were working in. I hate
to challenge you on this, and I do because I love you so much, but these are the same people that voted for Cara Blatt and put people in positions of power in their union who stood up at that microphone and every single meeting kissed Brandy Kwong's ass, got up at the school city council meetings and said how the numbers that we released about 70% was wrong, how 70% of the kids are doing great. They lied about all of those numbers, and they defended the people that are not giving them the money, but they tell you privately, we need the money, but then they get up publicly and they advocate for the people that are not giving them the money. So I have no sympathy for the teachers anymore. They had a chance to put somebody in as the union leader that was going to fight for the things they tell us privately. They call me too. And I'm done taking their calls. I told them after that whole thing with the school city council meeting, do not call me anymore. I'm done. I go out and I fight for you. Then your union attacks me publicly and you cheer them? No, done. You either stand up or you leave the job and go do something else. They need to stand up. If they don't, then they should all just be replaced.
Which is...
Sorry, but that's...
Wait, I don't know if you know this. I have 4 kids. I have 3 daughters, 1 son. Yeah.
$131 million they spend, Councilor. $131 million, and 70% of the kids can't read? 70% of the kids can't read with $131 million? Mm-hmm. And they're claiming they don't have enough money? Come on.
I mean, we have to figure it out, and I think that...
I just shared that on my page for anybody who wants to see those actual numbers. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell. I wasn't yelling at you.
No,
but it's infuriating to hear people who are the problem privately telling us the problem and then publicly saying the opposite. Because that's why there's a problem. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's like I was telling Carlota, I tell my daughters, you have to be assertive, and you have to speak up. You can't sit in a room.
Well, I do, but all they do is throw rocks at me.
You can't sit in a room and walk out of that room saying, oh, I felt so bad how he treated her or how she spoke to her. You know, you need to stand up and say, listen, I may be out of line. It's none of my business, but this shouldn't happen here. It's not the place, or you know what I mean? Like you need to voice something. I don't want you walking out of a space regretting that.
But you saw that. You went to a school board meeting as a city councilor. They should have welcomed you. They should have loved the fact that you were there. And then you put right at that school committee, you put it right at their feet because it is their responsibility. And you said, this is your fault. And if you're not going to fix the problem, maybe we need receivership. And then they did to you what they do to me and everybody else that questions their authority. They attack you personally.
Listen, I grew up in an environment.
But why did the teachers union do that if they care about the teachers that are not getting paid enough that you say they're not getting paid enough?
I came from the projects and in a yard that I was bullied every day.
Where?
So
where? Here in
Methuen? So for me, no, I was born in Methuen, lived in Methuen for a little bit. Then my parents got divorced. My mom had to move into the Bradfords, which is income-based rental, IBR, it's what's called. Okay. So based on what you make, right? Yeah. You pay your rent. And so my mom got kicked out of income-based rental because she became an entrepreneur selling pastelitos. And so they're like, hey, and she used to clean St. Mary's
She doesn't
Church.
bring me her mom's pastelitos,
no,
does she?
You know what? I was upset because I was behind today and I wanted to bring you some. Okay. But at the end of the day, she had to move there because she became an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. And so she said, well, if this is what it means for me to move out of the box, right? Because a lot of people stay in the box for benefits. My mother was like, you know, bought her first home. I was a kid. I was 11, 12 years old back then. At the end of the day, I came from one of the most excruciating, looking back, I mean, for me, it was cake. But looking back as a kid, you know, it's tough, but it's not like, so I'm like, yeah, bring it on. At this point in my life,
your mom had a choice. She could either stay and hold you guys back.
Not sell the pastelitos anymore, right?
And hold you guys back. It doesn't matter what she did, but like, you know, she had an option. She had options. She could either stay.
Absolutely.
She can leave. That's good.
So what is your solution for the schools? Because you guys are going to have to vote on their budget this year, and you're going to have them come before you and lie to your face again and tell you that 70% of the kids are doing great.
One of the things that I can tell you, and I can tell this because I've alluded to it
give
on
us
the
some
floor,
news.
Is this inflation of positions that we're doing in the city has to stop so that then we can later say, we're in the black. Yeah, of course we are. Duh. Because you didn't fill the almost $2 million worth of position. It was less than that. But you didn't fill.
Well, you're saying they're not filling positions so that they're not spending that money and make it look like they're in the black when they're really not.
When we're really not.
But you just finished telling me, and I believe you because I hear it all the time from the teachers too, that they're not getting enough money. They don't get enough support.
Well, not all of them. So support can look to you like, how can I grow professionally? That's support, right? How can I have smaller classrooms?
How about discipline in the classrooms? How about if a kid strikes out in the classroom, you throw them the hell out of the classroom? How about you just do that so the other kids can learn? Because I've found that if you talk to every teacher in Lawrence and Methuen, everything boils down to, when they're done complaining about all the other stuff, it all comes down to distractions and discipline.
So I can tell you that discipline is huge for me. I went to parochial school.
Oh, nice.
And back then, you know, they weren't hitting you with the ruler like they did.
I got hit. I got hit in the arm.
I went to St. Patrick's Grammar School. We got hit.
I went to St. Patrick's.
Did you really?
Yeah. John Drew and I have that.
I'm going to hate this answer, but what year did you graduate St. Patrick's?
Oh my God, 90.
I already hate that answer.
Yeah, 94.
I hate that even more.
Yeah, you were way before
81.
me. Yeah. Oh God. Oh, you don't look that viejito. But anyhow.
So they'll call me Poppy, and I like it.
Did you have Sister Ann?
I had Sister Ann, yes,
oh my God,
did.
Yeah. So that's why I can do public speaking.
Yes.
Sister Ann.
Be, is, am, are, was, were, been, appear, become, continue, remain, look, feel, seem, smell, taste.
Wow.
I can still do that from 5th grade.
She would I remember it was excruciating and embarrassing.
The being verbs.
But it helps you in the long run, right?
It sure does.
Yeah. Great.
Because they can throw you out. Teacher. So if I acted out at St. Ann's class, I'd be out in the hallway for the entire class.
I did St. Ann's too.
And then if I bet it was bad, you were in the principal's office, and from there you went home. Today they leave them in the classroom. Well, we have to give them a hug. We have to show them that we love them. No.
That's public, though.
You need to, yes. But
private, you can do. They
right,
can kick
well, that's
you out.
right. And what we need more is discipline more in the classroom. Yeah. Because you have 1 or 2 kids that are causing a problem, and then the other kids that are actually struggling, are not able to catch up because you've got 1 or 2 kids causing problems in every class, but the teachers
Well,
do nothing.
I told you about middle school and CGS. They actually break down by math levels. So like my son goes to a class where the math level is like blue, like that's like the highest, and then there's like yellow, and then there's red, like that's that like the different steps. I think that helps maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if
But
the
now,
other schools
I know that,
do it.
for example, my son's at the Timony. Not for long. My husband's like, we're moving out of the Timony.
My cousin works there,
Yeah.
by the way,
Yeah.
in the front desk.
You're not moving out of Methuen, you're just moving out of that district.
Out of the, yeah. Be clear.
We'll call you Dan
Counselor
Sibilia.
announces. Counselor announces. Yeah.
Right.
Be clear. But anyways, no, he wants to bring him to parochial based on everything we found out, but my son has gotten disciplined in Timony, so I can't say that he hasn't. They don't do what they need to do. My son has been removed from the classroom for acting up. He's an 11-year-old kid.
Love to see it.
Yeah, and so he was brought out of the. So I wouldn't say that's all around. I'm sure, and the thing is that our schools operate in kind of silos. Like everybody has like their own kind of thing. So I could see how you're hearing something that's not that's something happening at a school and not in another.
Yes.
Right.
But with that being said, there's a myth out there, and I saw it on Facebook, that people are using Methuen addresses but live in Lawrence.
Yeah, that's true. We know that for sure. I know people.
wait.
Yeah, me too.
Wait.
We know people.
Wait. Knocking on door. Guess what I found out?
What?
The schools are encouraging it.
Methuen residents are putting their kids in Lawrence schools.
That's awesome.
And I said,
Because Lawrence schools are
why?
better. Because they're just better.
I said, what?
You know why though
It's
too?
true.
But wait, they
The
also have
schedule.
the,
True.
they have
Even
the
Lawrence
charter,
is making fun of Methuen. Even Lawrence.
They have the charter system.
Yeah, they
and
do.
so a lot of those kids are in the charter
I asked for a
schools.
charter. I did ask a question to some counselors about a charter in
You gotta use a
Methuen,
Lawrence
and
address.
They said no.
You got to use a
straight
Lawrence
up.
address.
So
Yep.
that may exist, but I think it's right now it's the other way around. It's definitely happening the other way around.
Yep.
Well,
I think it's
Lawrence
happening
is
both.
longer too. Like
Right.
like Alejandro, he's in kindergarten from 8:30 to 3. He goes to school. Like who can work between those hours? Lawrence starts like at 7. Some schools.
Right.
So that's probably why too. I don't know.
So you run, you win, you get in. I'm sure that you saw what everybody saw when they first get elected into Methuen, that there's this bunker mentality that if you're not in with the hardcore insiders that are far left-wing lunatics, that they're going to go after every single thing that you say and do. And I know that you have been targeted by some of those people. You even had a school board member, Dan Sibilia, before he was thrown out of office by the voters, created fake accounts to come after you, and we caught him because we ran his IP address, so we caught that he was actually Chuck Kirk and
So-
another woman's name, I can't remember, something
So
Carter.
whether I know that you put out there, that data, that it was Mr.
What's his face?
Yeah.
Kelsey's
So-
husband,
So
Kelsey's wife.
But in his defense, he did call me and he said it's not me. No. I want to be honest. Like he did call me and say it wasn't him, and
OJ said it wasn't him too. We should just believe him.
So. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to open an account to target him or anybody else. That's not. I don't have the time. It's not something I would do. And so I have this motto in life. Like, if you have to go out of your way to damage someone else, how bad is your life?
Right.
And so I'm not saying that that's him. I'm saying, and again, if I saw him with a flat tire and he needed a ride, I'd give it to him. That's just the kind of person I am.
Not Tom. Not Tom.
Because
I'm a bad person, I guess, because
and
I wouldn't give him a ride.
I feel that one of the most damaging things in environments that we're in is that people start listening to people because of their perception of you. And their perception is usually comes out of fear or what you represent to them. So, for example, if you see me as somebody that represents something that you haven't done for yourself, I'm a threat to you because I'm a reminder of that. And so I've learned to understand that it's not me. It comes from you. What am I triggering in you for you to have that reaction on me? And so I always say there's a love. You either love me or you hate me until you get to know me. Because sometimes you say, oh, I like her. And then you say, wow, I really got to know her and I really enjoy her. Some people say, well, I thought something of her and it changed. Others say, you know what, I can't stand the lady. And that's fine.
I still don't know her. We've never actually had lunch together. We've never had a one-on-one conversation. We've chatted in a text message a few times. And I think we had maybe a brief conversation on election night when we were with a group of people. But I think people think that like we're somehow best friends, and we've never really actually had a conversation.
I really like you.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
analytical
I
and you're
appreciate you.
objective. I like that.
So
I just like that she's hot.
So I feel that you and my husband. So I feel that
he has my admiration.
No, so Tom, for example, I heard about your incident, and I felt like just like I would hear about somebody else's incident, I would check in, right? And I'd say, hey, just want to know you're okay. You need anything, please reach out. That's the kind of person I am. It could have been him. It could have been anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I'm not going to change because I'm in this political environment. Like if you talk to people outside of that in my real estate industry, they're going to tell you about Neily because they've experienced me for 23 years, and they can tell you, oh, she's done this for the industry, she's done that, she's been there. They'll tell you.
I talk to your colleagues. They say you're a go-getter. You're super energetic. That you're always willing to jump in and help someone else without getting credit. And mostly what people have said is that you are extremely outgoing and extremely helpful. And I've talked to people in real estate. I have a lot of friends who are in mortgage businesses and in real estate businesses. We have Century 21 advertisers with us. We've got a couple of others. And when you first got elected, I reached out to you through the city email, which I guess you never got. And then I got pissed off because you didn't get back to me, but I didn't realize you didn't get it.
You see that? Judging me.
So I started asking around, like, tell me about this Neily woman.
No, I'm going to be honest about that.
She's ghosting me.
No. Let's be honest, because I'd be remiss because I have a.
I know we got to let you go very shortly.
Yeah, I have a council meeting, a committee meeting in a little bit. You have beef or had beef with a friend of mine that.
Wait.
Let me finish because
right.
you're gonna jump on me, and this is where you could see that I don't attach things. Okay, like some people may. So you have beef with. You mentioned the lady for the homeless earlier on. That's her daughter. And so she mentored me on my first board ever for Greater Lawrence Community Action Council. So that's how I know her. And my first interaction with you, which, by the way, you and I have a common friend. I put 2 and 2 together the other day. And it was back in the day, in the Antigua days, Julie Duran.
Right.
That's how I met you. She loved you.
Antigua days.
Yeah.
Notice how she says loved.
Yeah.
Notice how she says loved.
Yeah, well, because, this, whatever. But anyway.
Her last name's not Duran anymore.
No,
but she does still love me, I will tell you that.
Yeah, she's nice. So anyway, my first experience of you, like real experience of observing you, was that. And I could see, well, that's a personal thing. That has nothing to do.
Well, it's me going after her daughter.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So seeing that as a mom, as a female, I'm not going to lie. I was like, what a piece of, right? But I can also separate the personal things, meaning that's how you feel.
Well, hopefully
you must have your reasoning because I've
hopefully
never asked her.
you read the news stories about why I was doing that, and then all of a sudden it made sense.
Let me tell you. So this is something that journalists should know is like you can follow something so much until you're just like, I'm done. I could care less. But again, I didn't read the articles because again, I'm in solidarity of like staying neutral and like my friend that mentored me. Obviously, she was feeling a certain kind of way, and
I'm sure she was.
But there's someone that's right and there's someone that's wrong in the situation.
But wait, right and wrong. But this is my theory. We can both be right. But there's a truth in the middle because in your eyes you're right, and in my eyes I'm right.
Well, the truth is the Supreme Court.
Right. I was just going to say I think the Supreme Court told us what the truth was at one point.
Okay, good. So your thing is, that's some beef that you guys had, and I'm not part of it, so I don't have to carry it.
Your friend, had she kept her mouth shut and minded her own damn business, would not be the target of me through any of that.
Well, isn't that her child though? Wouldn't you?
But
do you have kids?
I do, but I would publicly not be taking my kid's side if my kid was wrong. I would personally do everything I could for my kid, but I would publicly not tell people she's right if she's not right.
Okay.
And the courts all the way up to the Supreme Court has said she's not right. And if she hadn't gone on Facebook and attacked me personally, if she had just gone on and defended her daughter, that'd be one thing. But she posted on Facebook, he's a sexual predator and they took his guns. He has no guns. And that's where I drew the line. Up until that very moment, I said, it's her mother, whatever. I'm having a beef with her. Her mother's jumping in on her side. I get that. I didn't include her in anything that I wrote or talked about until she pulled that and put my personal safety in jeopardy. And that's what I had to draw the line. And now at that point, now it's war. Like once you do something like that to me, once you put my physical safety in jeopardy.
He sounds like my son. It's war. He won at this game.
You want to put my personal safety in jeopardy, that's going to be
there?
something I'm never going to respond positively to ever. And so that's where that went.
Tom is right 100% on this. I'm sorry.
However, but I would
Yes.
never hold, if I'd known at the beginning that you were her friend, I would never have held it against you. Right?
No,
Because
I appreciate that, but at the end of the day, like I said, people shouldn't be just because you have your battles or your.
Because I'm thinking
disagreements,
she's great looking, she's a redhead, she's a businesswoman, she's smart, she's educated, she's got money, she's married, she's got a family. Why would we not want someone like that in elected office? Like, why would, with all of that, like that's something that we beg for. Like even DJ is on the phone 6 months before an election trying to find someone with those kind of qualifications to run for city council, because those are the people that we need in the community. People that are vested, people that are anchored, people who have a family, they have a business, they've sacrificed in the community for the community, and that's why we need people like you. So I never would have. I know you ran. We didn't know each other. I know that during the campaign and even afterwards, I tried to connect. It just didn't happen. But I'm glad that we're friendly now. I'm glad that we kind of connected throughout the last campaign. And I see serious leadership qualities in you. I think that you could be a great mayor. I'm going to tell you here what I say behind your back because I think it's only fair when I'm doing an assessment of a candidate. I think you come across the city council meetings as being more angry than you really are. I think it's just the way it comes across.
Like my vice tells me, you're too confrontational.
Yeah, and I think if you had a softer.
And I appreciate that because I take criticism very constructively. So you could always say, like, you could tell
But
me.
you have to be like that because, like you said, you're the first.
You could say, Nelly, that red ain't for you. And I'd be like, oh, should I? So you know what? I'm going to consider toning it down. Just like an example.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're
I'll
the
play
first.
with it.
And
The
you
red should
have
be
to be
redder.
strong.
And I'll play with it, right? I'll play with it. But at the end of the day, I feel that everybody that tells me from their perception of what they're seeing from me, I take it constructively because, hey, it comes from your lens. And then I ask myself, why do you see that?
I think having Patricia and Yunilda on your side on that
Well,
council.
that's not true.
Well, I mean on the council, as far as like having two other Latinas on the council.
Well, I like
think
the
that
fact-
softens it up. I think it softens you. Go ahead.
I think
I don't need to
that-
talk. It's my show. I talk next week.
I think that 3 Latinas in a space is going to do a lot of this.
Oh, yeah.
And you already saw that in one of the meetings. I kind of had to tell Patricia to shut up.
In a nice way.
I bet that didn't go over well.
And we don't all get along, and there's stuff that we don't agree on. Now, people say, oh, they vote the same. Well, if my perception of something and theirs may be similar on, and again, there's nobody's in cahoots with anybody. You know what I mean? You show up and you vote the way you're going to vote. At the end of the day, I feel that you may see like, oh, there's more. These girls are. There's more. No, that I can tell you, Patricia, when it comes to certain things, tells me right off the bat, that is not down my alley. My constituents don't want it. She's in the West. I'm in the East. You know what I mean? And Janelda's in the Central. And we're dealing with very different demographics.
Yep.
Like you got all the oldie goodies in the West. That's what I say. That's
It
my
is.
opinion.
It is.
Older generations live and they want to keep their like farm style lifestyle. They have more land. You know, Central's very condensed. There's, we have more of the Hispanic community, Latino community there.
Muslim community too.
Yeah, Muslim. People want to have more of a walking community there. You have Linda Susie, which we're grateful for. And then you have the Valley. And the Valley's like, this is our territory, But I feel that the East is very welcoming. If you see the demographics changing, it was changing more in the East than
It is.
I was
than the West.
surprised. I have to tell you, I was surprised when Eunice Ziegler first ran, and she, as a black woman, I thought she'd have no shot. And the first time she ran and I met her,
the East loved
I
Eunice.
met her and I walked away thinking she'd be
I
such
think
a.
they still do. They still help her out with whatever.
So I remember walking away from her after first meeting her when she was running, thinking, God, she'd be such a great counselor. It's too bad she can't win. And my friend said, well, why can't she win? I said, because she's black. And we've never had a black elected official in Lawrence I'm in Methuen that I know of. And I don't know how the East End, coming from Lawrence, the Italian thing with the Irish, I don't know how that's going to translate.
She's in the West.
And she killed it. She killed it. She killed it. She did so well. She got reelected twice.
I took over her seat.
And I think she did pave the way for a lot. I mean, granted, she's a left-wing lunatic, but and I don't think Methuen's ready for left-wing lunacy. I think Methuen's a very moderate community, but Eunice did very well, and I was actually proud when the night she won. I thought, you know what, I didn't give Methuen enough credit, and I was wrong about that.
I believe she was on the west because I went to her house.
No,
she lived like off of Pelham Street.
Yeah, but that,
Pelham,
that
New Hampshire.
divides in the redistricting.
North Street?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it divides.
I don't know. Anything else you want to bless us with
I have
before
a
you go? I
question.
know you got a
I have
3
a
o'clock.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So there's a hotel that's going to be built. Well, not yet. You guys are
On
having
the
a
east, yep.
meeting. What are your thoughts on that? It's right across the street from
So
Summit Place.
So I feel the density in Methuen, when you look at what comes into Methuen, is mainly the densities up in the east, right?
Okay.
All those 100 units, like you see them. You
Yeah.
saw 2 right off of Pleasant. There's some uproar or some conversation of like, why a hotel? We're not attractive enough for anything else. Nothing else has come to approach us now. That's privately owned, and you can't tell the owner, you can't sell this for this person to come in front of the city and try to get this going. As far as the hotel, would it have been my first option? Potentially not, because I'm honest with you, it probably would have been smart growth residential there.
Well, there's the Summit Place right across the street.
Yeah, but I would have done more like townhouses for ownership, for home ownership, as opposed to a hotel. Because again, my background is real estate, and when I say smart growth, and people say, oh, she wants to bring all these apartments in. No, when you look at smart growth, you see where it fits in, and how can you get stakeholders into your community, and that's your taxpayer. So if you develop a community of like, ranch style condos or townhouses that it could be owned, and that are entry level. I think I would have put that there. The zoning doesn't allow for it anyways. The zoning only allows for that commercial.
Okay.
So that's part of the hiccup there. So what else could come in? I don't know, but right now that's what's in front of us, so we have to decide on that.
As long as they don't turn it into like an illegal immigrant shelter. Again.
Speaking of illegal immigrants, the mayor of Methuen, who really should stay in his own friggin' lane, but doesn't know how to because he's not smart enough.
Methuen Latinos are with Trump, so I
know they are. Well, not DJ Beauregard.
majority.
He thinks he can kiss up to Latinos by being anti-Trump.
The majority.
Today he was with Laurie Trahan, our communist congresswoman,
There was an event today,
who was at an event calling ICE murderers and calling for ICE to be out of our communities. And DJ Beauregard stood with her. You're president of the city council, chairman of the city council. What do you think about local officials involving themselves in something this silly? And do you agree with DJ? Are ICE murderers? Are they jackbooted Gestapo? Are they the Nazis that Dan Shabilia says that they are?
So I have mixed reviews from the mayor, because I think there was a statement that he said that we were, when you don't accept the immigrants, what is it? Lawrence is
like a sanctuary city?
Sanctuary city. I remember he said that. So.
He said Methuen is or isn't?
Isn't.
Isn't, right.
Isn't a sanctuary. Remember
So he likes
that?
to try and play both sides. When he's talking to me, he pretends he's conservative.
I remember that comment, and now you said that he was there about that. I'm confused. Now, I can tell you myself, I think that what's been happening, the escalation with ICE, is unnecessary. And I feel that if you're going after criminals, there's a way you could do it, and you can do it safely. I mean, we do raids all the time. You catch people selling fentanyl all the time. There's ways that you can get rid of what you don't want in your community in a should I say organized manner. That's the way I feel. I don't think you showing up on my doorstep with guns without knowing if I have a criminal record.
But who's doing that?
No, I'm saying.
They're not doing that. That's the thing. That's the narrative. What they're saying is that they're going up to people randomly and doing that. They're not. They actually they're looking for criminals. They're looking for criminals.
People with
and
deportation
people are
orders.
getting in the way
So
of
how
that.
do, and I'm going to ask you this, because again, and then I'm very, that's not happening in Methuen, by the way. There's no ICE in Methuen.
Not yet.
Okay.
They're coming.
What I'm saying is, in I'm sorry, I went blank. The lady that got killed in Minnesota,
Renee Good.
Renee Good. My understanding is she wasn't a criminal.
Like I said in the
She
beginning
hit
of
a
the
cop with
show,
a car. That makes her a criminal to
if
me.
in the beginning of the show, if you're in Dominican Republic and they're doing
No, I
some work
understand.
and you get in their
But
way,
this is
what's
where-
gonna happen to you?
Okay,
The
but
same thing.
This is where you have right. You're arguing for your position, and I'm telling you, I feel that it's unnecessary. If she and I watched it, what is it you said? The guy played the video 20 times. I personally didn't think she threw the car on the.
She did. They asked her to step out of the car, and she was trying to flee.
She hit the cop.
She
he,
hit
he
the
went
cop,
to the hospital.
and he is trained to do just what? Just to protect himself. He's trained for that. That fast response, that's the training.
If the
And
Methuen
that's why you
cops pull
shouldn't
you
get in their
over,
way. You shouldn't get in their way
if the
when they're
Methuen
doing their
cops pull
job.
you over, and you get out and you get in their face, or you get in your car and you
Well,
and you
first of
try
all,
to
I wouldn't
flee,
do
they're-
that. I
right? Well, that's my
respect
point.
authority.
If
But
she
what I'm
didn't put
saying-
herself there wouldn't be.
What I'm saying is, I personally think we're in a hot mess in the sense of like, and it's basically to keep us more divided. That's hands down. Because look at how you and I just went into. We didn't get heated.
No. We're just having a conversation.
But we're having a conversation. But think about that outside. Two neighbors, and having this conversation. People shoot them,
It's
That's
the
what that
Democrats.
does.
I'm sorry. It's the Democrat leaders who are telling people that they can go against ICE. They can get in their way. They can tell people where they live. They can tell people
You
their
must
place.
be a racist.
They're not supposed to do
You must
that.
be a racist.
Am I? What color am I?
I don't know.
Que yo
Latino.
hablo. Where was I born? Okay, Dominican Republic. I'm not.
What part of Dominican Republic?
La capital.
Oh, okay.
In San Luberon. I came here when I was 10. Went to CGS.
Young.
Yeah, I'm still young. I'm
Anything
21.
else before we go? I know you've got
that's
some
all.
place to be.
I
and
gotta run. Thank you for having me.
Will you come back?
Yeah, I'll come
okay.
back.
All right. You got to ask them on the air because off the air sometimes
Yeah,
they'll just
I'll
say
come
no.
back, and not when I'm running.
No.
No, you can come anytime.
Yeah.
Just don't, if you have news, like don't ignore Tom. Don't
What are your
keep him out
thoughts?
of the
What
light.
what
I
are,
don't
what are your
ignore him.
thoughts about running for mayor in 2 years?
If and when I told you what I would do, I would reach out to DJ first.
No, I know what you would do if. I want to know. I want to know if.
Oh, what? I don't want to say what I would do if I ran for office.
You thinking about it? There's a lot of talk about it.
Well, the
Everyone's
thing-
pushing you
I'm
for
gonna
that.
say something. I've been asked so many times. So when you're like, when you tell the person, and I don't want to say this in a derogatory way, but you look a certain way so many times that you start believing it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with that question.
Oh, like your
People
head is
start-
like, okay.
People start saying, "When are you running? When are you running? Or why aren't you thinking of running?" And it's really people that I wouldn't expect it from. Now, there's things that I have to do in order to pull that trigger, and one of them is I have to consult with my family. It's very important because if none of my squad is in, then I'm not gonna do
Right.
it because it's really you see the mayor in that office, but the kind of stuff he has to deal with in there, I don't know if I could do without my family support.
It's not an
Yeah.
easy job at all.
not
I know everybody
no.
thinks
And
it's
I
easy, but
commend
it's
him.
not.
He gets a lot of slack for maybe not reacting too quick or not speaking too loud about certain things or speaking too loud about others. But it's when you're going to be judged. I mean, I see it on the council seat. You're judged if like somebody, that journalist, quote unquote, called me yesterday about why wasn't the agenda out on the internet, and I had to educate him on the whole process. But anyway,
Imagine a
No.
former
An
elected official
attorney?
having to be.
Isn't he an
Imagine an
attorney?
attorney and former elected official having to be schooled on how an agenda works.
so at
Now
the
you know
end-
why 70% of kids can't read in
So
Methuen.
at the end of the day, I see it. I see how that can affect your mental state too. So
I think that if people are coming up to you and telling you that, it's not because they want you to believe. It's because they believe in you.
Yeah.
They want you to go for it.
Well,
You
but
know what
you've
I'm
also
saying?
gotta be
Don't say
careful,
like,
too.
Oh, no, I'm starting to. No, it's people really want you to run for it. That's what I
But
thought you
also
were
have
running
to-
this year.
But you also have to be careful because there are a lot of people who will tell you that you should run, and they will be
That's it.
campaigning for the person running against you
yeah,
when it's
yeah,
over.
yeah, of course.
So you've
I wouldn't
always
say
got to
that.
be.
I wouldn't do that.
But the moment I pick I decide if that's going to happen. Like I said, I would approach, and then.
But it's something that's possible. Yes.
I'm always. Oh, anything's possible in life.
Right.
I am all in. When I say I'm all in, I'm all in.
I think
And
you could
I'm
be.
very
I think you could
competitive.
run and win. I think.
And I don't do dirty campaigns.
No, that's me. I think you could run and win. I think Patricia could run and win. I think Nilda, maybe with a couple more years, could also run and win. I think that there are a lot of Latino business people in Methuen who speak perfect English who, actually could put their name on the ballot and could defeat DJ. The problem is nobody wants the job. At least in the last election, what we saw was you had this left-wing kook that was out there calling Trump a Nazi and a fascist, and then she decided she's going to run for mayor, and even the left-wingers didn't support her. Like even the Dan Shabilias of the world who are, of that ilk all supported DJ because DJ likes to try to play the middle. Like when he's talking to me, he tries to convince me how conservative he is and how moderate he is, and he's not really a left-winger, and he's not really at one point he said to me, I'm not a Kelsey Shabilia, and then he's on Dan's, he's got a podcast because like 29 people watched it.
But that's okay. I feel that he should be on everyone's podcast, don't you think?
100%. But
he should be here too.
The problem is he only goes to the podcast that will kiss his ass.
Oh,
so if you kiss his ass, I did not.
Then. You kissed his ass then once.
I did?
You're saying it. He only goes to the podcast.
Oh, no. Well, that was because it was election time. Oh. That was the other exception.
Yeah.
If they want to use me, they'll come in on election time. Otherwise,
I missed that.
That's right. He's going to find out in 2 years what ghosting me is going to do for him.
Forget about that guy. Let's talk about her being
mayor.
mayor.
This guy has vendettas, huh?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, my God.
Vendettas?
You need to be mayor. You need to run for mayor.
If I had vendetta, Sharon Burchell would no longer be living in Methuen.
Oh my
I promise you that
God,
right now. If I had vendettas. Well, she said I have a vendetta. I just want to point out to people that if that was the case, other people would be in big trouble, right?
When Tom wants to ruin your life, he will ruin your life.
Yeah, but how long did it take? How many chances did I give those people?
You didn't. You gave a lot.
I gave them multiple chances. So nothing else before you leave?
No,
anything good coming up on the council agenda? Anything people should be paying attention to over the next few meetings?
Tonight we have that charter meeting at 5:30, workshop. It's not an actual meeting, and no votes will be taken.
Two things need to change in your charter. If I could just get this on your radar screen, I'd be happy before we end the show. Number one, no more canceling primaries. There should always be a primary no matter how many people are on or off the ballot. And stop having a deadline for polling papers. The deadline for polling papers should be the day you turn them in. That's the one thing Lawrence does better is they run their elections better than Methuen. Because if you wait until if there's no deadline to poll papers, it's just a deadline to turn them in, then you can see like the day that it's time to turn them in that so-and-so's probably not going to return his papers. You can go maybe get 50 signatures that day, and you can get your name on the ballot. And when you cancel these primaries, what happens? My God, you have 5 people running for 6 jobs on the school committee, and then who picks those 2 seats? The insiders, the elected officials. That should never happen. You should always have a primary where somebody can go out and get 50 people to write your name on a ballot and get on a final election, get your name on the final ballot. And I know that there are elected officials who argue with me on this and say, but you can run in write-ins on the final. Right, but you have to get, in the final, you have to get more write-ins than people whose names are already on the ballot. So, you have, in your race, you had 3 people running. If you'd had a primary in your race, you could have somebody get 50 signatures, and now you'd have 4 people on the ballot. And that's more challenge to the authority.
It's a city, too, now. I think that's something that
you got to stop
change.
canceling primaries, and you got to not have a deadline to poll papers. And if you did those 2 small things, you would see an incredible increase in participation in Methuen elections. That's exactly what Lawrence does.
Good suggestions.
So anyways, and nothing else.
Thank you for having
me. We have Council President, Council Chairman,
Congratulations.
Neily Soto. Is it Nelly or Neily?
It's Nelly, but my mom stuck that I in there because my father's name is actually Nay.
Okay.
So Neily.
Neily.
But in English,
it didn't
my
translate.
whole life, Nelly.
Carlota.
I got you.
Yeah.
So imagine in English.
Carlota Castillo.
Carlota Castillo.
All right, let's thank our sponsors. Century 21 McLennan Real Estate. You can roll up, Mel.
I know.
We didn't give you a tote board, but we're way over time, so I'm going to just post it online. Century 21 McLennan Real Estate. Brandos. Did he give me an answer? We got something. All right, we gotta. If you have to go, you can go. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much, hon. But how do I send this to you so you can post this?
Yeah, sure.
We have breaking news.
Thank you.
We have breaking news here.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we do. It's 37 seconds. Can you run it from there?
Where did you send it to me?
Breaking news.
Where did you send it?
I sent it to you on Facebook.
I can't open. You gotta send it to the Valley Patriot Messenger then.
To what?
To the Valley Patriot Messenger.
I don't know what that is.
I feel like if I do that though, it's gonna
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you. It's going to take me out of the life. I can't do it from here.
Can't do it.
Do it to the email that's from here. But meanwhile, while we're doing that,
what's the email?
Hold on. Meanwhile, let's do the top board since we're.
Yeah, but what's the email? So put the top board up. This is our top
Okay.
board for our Valley Patriot
Let me
Bash
look it up. Hold on.
scholarships. And then I need the email so I can send this to you, and hopefully it'll send.
I'm
All
sorry,
right, so here's our
guys.
2026. While she's doing that, is our 2026 Bash totals. We haven't even picked all our kids yet. We've only got 2 of the 8 kids so far. And by the way, the Edmund Lowe Scholarship, we will have a student's name and photo for this year. Finally, we got Mr. Lowe to come on board with that. Look at Cody ends up in first place. Wow. So our Prime Insurance Services, that's from Doug Mercurio, the Prime Insurance Services Scholarship for an Andover kid. He's going to pick that kid. The Cody Memorial Scholarship, we've already got $1,105. Do we have an email on that yet?
Yes, I'm sending it to you through text, so you can just send it over easier.
all right.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder.
Oh, sorry.
The Phil Glendyce Special Needs Scholarship, Martha Rouge Tatro, picked, and I was hoping she was going to work with Kristen Maxwell, but for some reason they're not working together. We got to get those 2 working together, whether they like it or not. Kellen St. Marie is his name. He's going into special needs. He's going to be a special needs teacher, so he's getting the Phil Glendyce Special Needs Scholarship. He's a Methuen High School senior. Then we have our Whittier Tech Scholarship, which I almost did away with, but Scott Wood, chairman of the Whittier Tech School Board, promised me at least $1,500 in scholarship money this year, so we're going to keep the Whittier Tech, and I'm pretty sure my buddy Steve Spalding kicked in for that. Haverhill High School, the Dan Strange Scholarship. What do you got over there, intern girl?
Sorry. You said you sent me the email, the message through Facebook.
To Facebook.
Send it to me so I can send it to the email here, please.
Send it where?
To Facebook.
I did.
It's not here.
I sent it to you.
Is it like a tag?
Carlota Castillo, I sent it to you in Messenger.
Yep, nothing's here, my friend. Mira. Duggan.
I know, but so what's the email?
The email is production@northandovercam.org.
All right.
Shout out to Luis Robles, my friend Luis.
Production at North End of a Cam.
Yes. .org. I don't know when you sent it.
.org.
Tomorrow, guys, we have the St.
So-
Patty's.
So everybody's just looking at that, so you can take that down so they know that they're not just looking at a...
Yeah, but we have the St. Patty's Day Parade fundraiser that John Drew is putting together. It's going to be at the Irish Cottage from 6 to 10 p.m., $20 per person. Are you allowed to have beer when you're there?
I believe so. It's the
I
Irish
hope
Cottage.
so,
I can't
right?
imagine they'd not want you to have beer.
Imagínate. Tú te imaginas.
So see if you got that. And
Okay,
then
let me check.
Otherwise, I'm just going to have to post it because he was late. So we sat down with my buddy Billy Griffin, who keeps promising me he's going to bring me a steak sandwich, but keeps forgetting me. Makes me sad. It makes
People
me.
are so busy.
It makes me cry though. They tell me they're going to bring me a sandwich, and then I sit there and I get hungry and I start thinking about that sandwich all day, and then it doesn't show up, and it's like, all right, I guess I have to eat something else, but
I'm not getting
you can't get
Tom.
it.
It's .org. Production@northandovercam.org.
It says that it went. How about if I post it on my page and you just play it off my page? Can you do that?
Let me see if I can. Give me a second. I didn't see it on. Let me see.
I mean, what do
Yeah.
people care? They're just sitting there watching us like do production.
Yeah, send
Right.
it to me on.
So
But post it.
So if I just post it,
Yeah, post it.
all right.
Why do you have 2 pages?
Well, I have the Valley Patriot page. As I
No,
was
you have like
explaining.
another one that says Tom Duggan. That has
Well, that's my
2.4.
that's for when I'm in Facebook jail. So I have my celebrity page for when I'm in Facebook jail.
Ah, that's smart.
So that way I can always.
Inteligente.
So it's only got like 1,000 people following me. By the way, if you want to, you need to be following my celebrity page, so that when I'm in Facebook jail, you can still reach me because there's only like 1,000 people following me there. And I'm going to try and upload this, and then we're going to try and get this out. Otherwise, I'm just going to go live in a few minutes from my office if we can't make this work, and see if we can't get this. See if we can't get this to work.
Post it, baby, post
Well, it's trying to post now. So, John, did we have something else? Didn't they send you something else we were supposed to promote during today's show?
The St. Patty's Day, and that's it.
It's going to cost me an extra $100 just staying here. But
I know.
we're over the hump. Did I have something else that I wanted to talk about today? While we're
I'm
waiting?
looking at something you posted. We died doing what we love the most, trying to prevent rapists and pedophiles from being arrested.
I didn't like that Council President Soto was kind of.
It's politics, Tom. You know.
I know.
Gotta respect that. You gotta respect
But
that.
I expected her to be a lot more liberal. I expected her to come in and be just like, no, that was outright murder. ICE is bad. And she's not. She seems to be the moderate that DJ pretends to be. DJ pretends to be a moderate.
She is very focused on Methuen stuff.
She is. Yes, she
more
is.
than anything else.
Yep.
Like, she's not worried about Nash. I mean, she can, but she's so worried about Methuen, and she does her homework. She really does. She knows everything.
She's a smart lady, and she's very good looking. She's got the red hair. It just makes me crazy. What?
You posted? I don't see it. It's not here.
Should be there.
You posted on your Facebook.
I posted on my Facebook. I sent it to you on Messenger. I sent you an email.
Maybe it's do you have the Wi-Fi here? Maybe it's not going through. God damn it. We're sorry, guys. We're really sorry.
All this for Billy.
He's late.
He is late.
We got a lot of,
All right, we're just going to end the show, and people just can see it on my page if you want to go to it.
We click on it.
Just end the show.
It's there when we click on it. It's not showing up from here.
No.
Maybe this computer's, I don't know. It's messed up. I'm
know.
sorry, guys.
I can't win. No matter what I do,
We'll do
I
it next
can't
week,
win.
right?
And it's not in your email inbox, right?
Let me check again.
She sent. It says it was sent.
Nope. Look. Facebook Messenger. I have nothing there. Oh, my God. I'm looking at the, what did you eat this day? Sefmar? The lamb chops? Because I'm looking at your page.
Oh, the lamb chops are
my
great at Sefmar.
God.
They're great.
Oh,
So we're just going to pretend we're not on the air, even though we technically are on the air. Yeah. And I guess we're just going to have to. I'm just going to have to post.
We're not used to having no dinner.
What's that?
We're not used to having dinner on Thursdays. Like, not going to have dinner on Thursdays.
When can we go back to having dinner on Thursdays?
When you feel better.
Well, when you can push a wheelchair.
Yeah, I know.
Right, because we could go to, I have a gift card right now for Salvatore's. We could go to Salvatore's right now for lunch, but you can't push a wheelchair.
No, I can't right now.
So if you could push a wheelchair, we get there.
Unless Randy Carter comes along. We should call him. He might be at the Elks, no?
The only time you hear from Randy is when you don't want to hear from Randy. That's the only time you hear from him.
Randy's a great
Whenever you
friend.
want him, he's never around. He's nowhere to be found.
He works a lot, that
The
guy.
day after I broke my neck, he came to see me. Do you need anything? I said, yeah, the one thing I really need is a TV tray so I can sit in my recliner and I have something to eat on and I'm not getting all over me. Oh, I got one of those at home, and then I had to chase them for three months, and now it's like, oh, I don't have one of those. Oh, did I say that? I don't know.
Those are not good anymore. Those wooden ones.
Yeah.
You know why? Because now they have ones that are like, they only come out this way, and then you can raise up and down. So it depends like what your height is. You know what I mean? Because the wooden ones, you have to like lean forward and sit on the edge.
Yeah, it's still not showing. So we have breaking news. So I'm just gonna give it to you. We have the video. We were hoping to show you Billy doing the announcement, but we do have since those of you who hung in to the end, you get the breaking news, and that is that Brando's, Billy Griffin at Brando's, Billy and Scott Brandolini purchased Harrison's roast beef in North Andover today.
Woo! I don't know.
They passed papers. We got the video of them passing papers. And we can't run the video of them passing papers. Of course, now that I've said it out loud, now it'll show up, right? Now
No
it'll
way.
work.
It's there? You're
So
lying.
Now
Let me
now is
see.
when it will show up. Right?
Ay. Oh, Billy. ¿Por qué no hiciste eso?
Still
Billy?
not there
¿Tienes?
for some
No.
reason.
I think
I
your
don't know why.
internet's not that good in here. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't get it. But all right, so let's thank our sponsors. I guess let's roll up Mel. We blew 2 hours today. Should have been a 1 hour show. And I want to apologize in advance to Neily Soto. I was a little off my game today. Normally I'm a little bit more on my game.
She was great.
But I thought she was great.
I think the interview went great. It was good.
I thought she was good. I was off my game. I thought she was fantastic.
You were good. Your questions were right on point.
I'd like to see. I would like to see her take off the veneer on the next show, and just be like a person, not be a politician, and just kind of like without thinking about it, just have.
But she wants to inform her public
I know.
as well.
I think what I'm trying to say is like we had people here that just talked. Like they weren't thinking politically about their answers. They just talked. It was a conversation.
There's been so much that has
It
happened.
was a conversation, not an interview. And I thought today was an interview, which is good for the first time.
Yeah, that's
But for the second time, third time, I'd like to see something more conversation.
I would like to see like the three of them.
The three of them together, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Why not?
Say hi to future Mrs. Duggan.
Oh, we love her.
She called me last night. She was all upset.
Oh,
She called me last night. She was all upset
miss her.
because she missed me.
I miss her and I haven't been around. I'm sorry. I've been going through stuff, Janelle. Sick.
Century 21 McLennan Real Estate. Brando's has now purchased Harrison's roast beef. You're going to be able to get your Brando's at Harrison's roast beef.
That's here, right?
She's waving in planes. I have
Is
no
it on
idea
Main
what
Street?
are you doing.
Is it on Main
It's
Street?
on Route 125.
Okay, got it. I know what it is.
Yep. The Zany Pesh Law Office, the Zany Pesh Law Office, On the Go Notary, Marston and Son Construction, EIS Investigation and Gun Trading, Tomo and Shaken Seafood. I think we're going to be there with Zaka tomorrow. I think if anybody wants to come and stalk me, that's probably where I'll be. Clear Path for Veterans, New England AFC Urgent Care, Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors. Although I think he runs out very soon. Got to hit him up for another check. Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office, which is now the sponsor of our newest scholarship for the Bash, the Prime Insurance Scholarship for Indoor. 4-star lighting and a free shout out to JG's Ice Cream and Paul Lambert, my buddy at Lambert and Randone Law Office. Thank you, intern girl, for today. It's gonna walking with my
Walker.
Walking with my walker instead of the wheelchair today.
Yeah. We wouldn't have been able to do the wheelchair.
That's tough.
You
That
saw
was
the
tough
smoke,
today.
right?
I know, but that was tough today. All right, Melvin Taylor says you got to go home, so go home already.